Say that's too far away.
No, it's not good enough. We need 15 now.
I mean, you have a family. How are you going to take care of your children? How are you going to get health care, things of that nature? So yes, $15 an hour. We need more than $15 an hour. But right now, we'll fight for the $15 an hour and try to go forward.
The march from downtown's financial district to Skid Row coincided with the anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. Dr. King had been demonstrating with black sanitation workers for better wages when he was killed. Like those workers in 1968, these fast food workers also want the right to unionize.
To this day, we don't have. 2017, over 50% of black workers do not have $15 of minimum wage, and over 60% of Latino workers don't have $15 the hour.
The $15 wage will happen, but for workers struggling to get by, how long can they wait? In downtown LA, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
LA's minimum wage jumps to $12 an hour in July. The wage will go up every summer until it reaches $15 an hour in 2020. An update now on the Crenshaw LAX rail line. Crews have added a new rail crossing at Centinela and Florence as the project inches ever closer to completion. However, people affected by construction raised concerns at a recent meeting. Gil Reyes has more.
Construction of Metro's Crenshaw LAX line is causing problems for Marie Bryant and other drivers.
People who are living on some of the side streets, they are coming home late in the afternoon and they are trying to find place for parking. I can only imagine what's going to happen when the train comes through.
Metro officials say parking and other traffic problems related to construction are expected. But will there be enough parking when it's finished? Bryant and others gathered at this community meeting hope so. The Crenshaw LAX line will stretch 8.5 miles and will serve the Crenshaw District, Inglewood, and Westchester. It's billed as an alternative to driving on LA's congested streets. Teachers at View Park Preparatory School support it.
When Metro approached us, we said we're all in because, believe it or not, our students are ultimately going to be using the Metro to get to school.
But finding parking remains on Marie Bryant's mind.
I'm really excited about the train. Don't get me wrong. I really am. I've always been supportive of that. I think it's something that's needed. But I still have to stress. I know you're channel 35, you said, and it's a city channel. I'm hoping this will get back to our city elected officials.
In Leimert Park, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The Crenshaw LAX line is expected to be completed in 2019. Over at City Hall, it was a day meant for celebration and recognition. But this year's Trans Day of Visibility served as a reminder that many transgender people feel far from safe in our country. Anna Marcos takes a look.
They pray for things that most of us have never had to pray for.
Strengthen us and keep us and help us. Oh God, there are forces high and low, and some see themselves as mighty, who would destroy us, who would continue to perpetuate the environment that leads to our murder.
These are the leaders of LA's transgender community. On this Trans Day of Visibility, they stand with city leaders and some of the LAPD's LGBT officers. Together, they're speaking up for the most vulnerable, like the 8 trans women murdered in hate crimes countrywide in the last 3 months alone.
China Gibson was killed on February 25th in New Orleans.
Jamie Lee Wounded Arrow, killed on January 1st in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Misha Caldwell, killed on January 4th in Canton, Mississippi.
But today is also a day for being counted, for becoming visible to the world, and for fighting injustice in an unfriendly political climate.
Recently, we learned that Donald Trump eliminated sexual orientation identity from the 2020 census, denying us the funding for critical support services.
I identify as a transgender man. My pronouns are he, him, his, and that's how I like to be recognized.
This is not a day of mourning. This is a day of visibility. This is a day of recognition. This is a day of empowerment.
These activists are part of LA's Transgender Advisory Council, one of the first permanent transgender councils in the country. And they advise city leaders on HIV and health care, job and housing discrimination, and other issues that affect the transgender community.
The primary scary experience that I have faced has not been one of violence, but one where I have not been protected on my job. And so when a corporation found out that I was a trans woman, I was instantly terminated.
Oftentimes, we are left out of the conversation and we are not at the table when decisions are being made on our behalf.
These things all add to almost erasing our humanity.
I hope this nightmare will be over soon and we can all achieve our constitutional and God-given right for life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Thank you.
For these activists, those rights have to start with speaking your truth. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The Trans Day of Visibility is honored in countries around the world. Well, for many of us, the weekend may be a time for some R&R, but not for one community. Hyde Park residents and fellow Angelenos came out to get their hands dirty for a clean cause. Rasha Goel has more.
Rakes, brooms, shovels, and some helping hands were all on board to help clean up the Hyde Park neighborhood.
We will be going up and down Hyde Park Boulevard between 11th Avenue and Van Ness Avenue, cleaning up all of the weeds, bulky items, trash, any issues that we have on the railroad tracks.
It's an area the district has received a lot of complaints about. In addition to beautifying the area, it's also a chance to interact with neighbors.
What we're trying to do is give people an opportunity to meet each other, to work shoulder to shoulder, to get to see your neighborhood. It's very different than driving through your neighborhood than it is walking block to block.
Various community groups also came out to help.
It's something that we have to do as a community, try to make our city as beautiful as possible with the help of the youth.
No job at this cleanup is too small. Little by little, but large enough to make an impact. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Think it's too late to earn a high school diploma? Well, think again. The LA City Library offers free accredited classes online for working adults. Gil Reyes has more from a different kind of graduation ceremony.
She finally did it. After dropping out of high school years ago, Valeria Siriani took advantage of a second chance and finally earned her high school diploma.
It was something really amazing. It was like a whole new experience.
Congratulations go out to 30 unique graduating students. Their ages range between 20 and 55, the latest to graduate from the LA City Library's Career Online High School program. It allows people who, for some reason or another, didn't finish traditional high school to finally earn their diplomas at their own time.
And oftentimes in between work. Take the case of class valedictorian and library employee Samson Rodriguez. Feeling out of place in traditional high school after immigrating from Mexico, he too had dropped out years ago.
There was a lot of pressure and there was humiliation too when I would get called out or bullied at a young age for not knowing certain simple things. So I like Career Online High School because it was simple. I did it from home.
Graduate Claudine Verdier discovered her high school credits in her native Belize could not transfer over to the U.S., so she too enrolled in the program and is now trying to convince her son, a dropout, to do the same.
I just say, I'm just going to do the whole high school over. And I showed him I could do it, you could do it.
The LA City Library is the first library system in the nation to offer these courses.
It's an incredible program and a great example of how the library really changes lives. These individuals now with their high school diploma are able to get better jobs and more opportunities in higher education.
So I'm currently in school. I'm getting my bachelor's and I'm going to be going to chiropractic school too as soon as I'm done.
Nice.
I go to Pasadena City College. Yeah, I'm working for my associates for nursing.
If you think you're scared, or you think it's too hard, or you think it's not right for you, just do it. I mean, what do you have to lose?
Nothing, of course, because online classes are free. At Career Online High School Graduation, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Interested in enrolling? Well, check out the website lapl.org/COHS. Well, it's a reminder of the lessons learned from the Rodney King riots. 25 years later, art helps us to give us perspective as the Reimagined Justice exhibit opens in South LA.
Night begins to fall and the intersection is burning. Another man who was beaten staggers up as a black preacher seems to pray over him.
The Rodney King riots mark their 25th anniversary this month, and the Office of Community Coalition, a social justice group formed after the riots, has turned its entire office into a living art exhibit for the month. It sits less than a mile from where the riots started in South LA. The Reimagined Justice exhibit focuses on the civil unrest and looting, which started after LAPD officers were found not guilty in the beating of Rodney King. The riots then spread to other parts of the city.
It really marks a time for us to take a moment to pause and really think about and reflect around what has really changed 25 years later. Learn about the roots that led up to the civil unrest. Also talk about what are some of the conditions that folks are facing today.
Photographs, art, live performances, and media all give a glimpse into different people's experiences of the riots. Over 50 artists and their teams are taking part, and many of them are from South LA.
It was really powerful in putting this show together, how many people came who brought their personal artifacts, people's original photographs that have never been seen before.
Among those never-before-seen photos is the work of photographer Abraham Torres.
That night, we didn't realize that we're driving into the riot. The riot had begun that night. These pictures are incredibly rare.
The future of our city really depends on how much progress we can bring to communities like South Los Angeles that have a history of neglect and disinvestment.
There's a way of being cathartic about the experience because everybody who was in LA during that time knows exactly where they were during the riots and has a story to tell.
And the exhibits allow plenty of room for both catharsis and reflection on how we can bring progress to a long impoverished area. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
For more information, visit cocosouthla.org/LA Uprising. Police and firefighters shave it all off to raise money for cancer research. Gil Reyes shows us what all the buzz is about on St. Baldrick's Day.
A nice full head of hair on both LA City Fire Captain Danny Wu and LAPD Lieutenant Greg Doyle, but not for long. And it's all for a good cause.
15 years ago, when my son had cancer, I joined up with the fire department. The captain at this station was doing an event, and he let me join in very graciously. And ever since then, it's taken off. So over the years, we've raised over $1 million for the St. Baldrick's Foundation.
The yearly St. Baldrick's Day event at North Hollywood Fire Station raises money for child cancer research. People shave their heads in solidarity, a show of support for loved ones who bravely endured pain and loss of hair from chemotherapy. Maggie Ownby lost a family member to cancer in February.
I did this for Eileen and her memory and her loving memory, and I'm doing it also for the honored kids. I met a wonderful kid today named Angel, and it just touched my heart so much.
This year our goal is $100,000, and we're pretty confident we're going to reach that. But just to be sure, I encouraged everybody to get out here this morning and to help us reach our goal.
Every 3 minutes around the world, a child is diagnosed with cancer. People gladly losing their locks in hopes of one day finding a cure. In North Hollywood, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Officials at the fire department say they surpassed their $100,000 fundraising goal. Well, plenty of hair was also being cut over at a Woodland Hills school as kids cut their ponytails for cancer victims. Anna Marcos has more from the annual Pony Up Cut-a-thon.
Lots and lots of ponytails everywhere. There's blonde ones, long ones, there's twin ponytails, multiple ponytails, and more, as dozens of students, even parents and teachers, prep their hair for the 4th annual Pony Up Cut-a-thon.
I'm gonna miss it probably for the first minute, and then I'll probably get over it.
I'm cutting my hair. I want to give them to the persons who don't have any hair. One of my family member has cancer, and they're fighting it right now. So I feel bad. Well, I want them to feel happy that they don't feel out like they don't have hair. So I want to give them my hair so they feel happy.
The Cut-a-thon at Serenia Charter Elementary School in Woodland Hills helps collect hair for cancer survivors who have lost their hair after going through chemotherapy. Yvette Peterson, a two-time cancer survivor, started the event.
When you look into the mirror and see yourself bald, it's such a significant reminder that you're sick and you don't feel whole. What's really powerful about that is not just the hair that people are cutting off so it can be made into a wig, but that tremendous act of kindness.
A snip of the scissors, and there they go, donating anywhere from 8 inches to a foot of their hair. It takes hair from about 6 volunteers to make a wig.
I feel so good.
Well, I thought about it, but I wasn't quite brave enough to cut my hair. However, I am lending support with a little pony-up beanie.
Oh my, there's even some styling going on. Now I really wish I would have done it. This little boy did. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
By the way, you can cut your hair and donate it to the cause anytime. To find out how, visit Pantene.com and click on the link Beautiful Lengths. A deadly intersection in West Hills gets a safety upgrade. Councilmember Mitch Englander kicks off his film festival for young filmmakers, and kids in West LA have a new place to play. All these stories in City Beat. Councilmember Mitchell Englander joined Los Angeles Department of Transportation and community members to activate a pedestrian warning device at the Jason and Roscoe intersection in West Hills. The project's undertaking comes after a mother, her daughter, and their family dog were struck and killed while crossing the street in the marked but uncontrolled crosswalk. Officials say the Jason and Roscoe Pedestrian Warning Device project combines 2 overhead flashing beacons with pedestrian controls and in-road flashing LEDs to vastly improve visibility of those crossing the intersection, especially at night. Englander also kicked off his 2nd annual Movies That Matter Youth Short Film Festival, which is open to young filmmakers from elementary, middle, high school, and college campuses throughout Council District 12 and the San Fernando Valley. Participants will be using the themes of social action and civic engagement to channel their creative process in one of 4 categories: public service announcement, documentary, live action, and animation. For more information or to submit, visit cd12movies.com. The Department of Recreation and Parks, along with Councilmember Paul Koretz, celebrated the reopening of the playground at Cheviot Hills Recreation Center located in West LA. Cheviot Hills Park serves nearly 6,000 residents who are within walking distance. The newly installed playground was designed with a treehouse-themed play area featuring a hollowed-out sycamore tree piece with multiple stumps that children can play on. The play equipment includes 2 bays of swings, 2 belts, and 2 tot seats, and a tire swing.
For more fun, more up-to-date, and I think this will be a great place for kids.
Well, you probably think you've seen all there is to see in LA, right? Well, you'd be wrong. A new experience is highlighting some of LA's hidden gems while making the old look new again. Rasha Goel has more as the Center Theater Group recently celebrated its 50th anniversary.
It's an opportunity to explore the sights and sounds of downtown LA. Remote LA, put on by the Center Theater Group, is celebrating its 50th season at the Mark Taper Forum. This walking performance tour gives people a unique way to learn about themselves, people around them, and the city.
You walk next to others, but how close do you want them to be? How close do you want to be to your neighbor?
Remote LA isn't your average tour. Through a computer-generated recording, you are guided through the city in real time, and not just as a spectator, but also as a participant. The performance reveals an unseen LA, places where people explore their limits and see commonplaces. It's a creative way of seeing the city while understanding how you perceive things.
I thought it might be a great way to see places that I don't usually have access to in the city, and to do so with other people, meet new people, interact with them, and new spaces at the same time.
I know LA fairly well, and I've lived in the area for a long time, but it just seemed a really unusual way to encounter downtown.
From the inside of Union Station to the outside of Pershing Square, visitors are able to capture the historic sights of downtown LA without a detailed narrative.
Downstairs, walk along the platform. Don't enter any train before I tell you to do so.
I feel like everyone kind of has an idea of what LA is, so maybe this will give like a new perspective.
A new way of seeing an old city. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Center Theater Group is one of LA's leading nonprofit theater companies. Well, if you love modern art, you may want to check out the new exhibit at Art and Practice. Enjoy an Earth Day celebration that's perfect for the whole family, and some seniors go all out for a talent show in Sherman Oaks. All this in this week's Things to Do. Art and Practice presents a solo exhibition of artworks by artist Al Loving. For 40 years, Loving experimented with materials and process to expand the definition of modern painting, drawing on everything from free jazz to his family's quilting tradition. In the 1980s, Loving broke free of that flat image, using heavy rag paper to make three-dimensional collages in brilliant colors. At A&P, Spiral Play will feature 12 of these collages, some of them monumental in scale. The work is radical, beautiful, and deeply human. His work will be on display at Art and Practice at 3401 West 43rd Place in Leimert Park from April 22nd through July 29th. To learn more, visit artandpractice.org. Join LA Sanitation for the annual citywide LA Sanitation Earth Day LA 2017 Festival. There will be over 50 exhibits dedicated to promoting sustainability and environmentally friendly activities, including city vehicles to explore, seed planting, and mulch giveaways. Entertainment will also be on hand, including performances from Tommy the Clown and other musical acts. The event takes place Saturday, April 22nd at Exposition Park, South Lawn near the Metro Expo line. For more, visit lacitysan.org. Unleash your artistic talents during the Spring 2017 Senior Amateur Talent Show. Join the fun or just come watch a variety of individual and group performances of singing, dancing, spoken word, and comedy. If you've ever wanted to show off your talents, this is the perfect opportunity. Admission is free and all ages are welcome. It all takes place at the Sherman Oaks East Valley Adult Center at 5056 Van Nuys Boulevard. For more information, call 818-386-9674. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Remember, pets need to prepare for disasters too. Put together an emergency kit with water, a water bowl, food, and any medications they may need. Get the message. Be prepared.
During California's next major earthquake, an epic battle will take place. Don't fight a brick. The brick will win. DareToPrepare.org.
Hi, I'm Kevin from Chatsworth, offering you a taste of New Orleans since 1986. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city,
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sir, whenever you're ready, we can start with your presentation.
All right. Okay, artists, are we ready? Thank you, Madam President and colleagues. I would like to welcome everyone as we celebrate Arts Day 2017 in the city of Los Angeles. Let's have some energy in the room here about Arts Day. As you can see with the waves of red shirts in this chamber that art is truly alive in Los Angeles. Now in its 6th year, Arts Day unites artists, audiences, and arts organizations with the leaders who represent them here at City Hall, fostering stronger relationships between those crafting the vision of LA's future and those who make it a reality. This year, we celebrate Arts Day in a challenging environment for the arts at the national level, and it affects all of us at every level. If there was ever a time we needed to fully exercise our freedom of expression, this is it. A recap of the last year. We have a president that campaigned on a platform of marginalizing entire groups of people because of their nationality, their physical attributes, their religion, and their gender. We now have an administration that engages in scapegoating the most vulnerable among us for political gain, an administration that stokes the paranoia, racist leanings, and ignorance of those who are intolerant of others, parrots the rants and lunacy of conspiracy theorists, a president who is a cabinet from the millionaire and billionaire class, seeking to eliminate programs for the tens of millions of Americans struggling at the economic margins, a first family that actively leverages the power of the presidency to enrich themselves in their dealings with corporations and foreign governments, and an administration that is anti-environment, anti-public education, anti-women's health, anti-labor. We have an administration that is openly contemptuous of intellectuals and artists and those who express political dissent. And we have a president who is proposing to eliminate public television and the National Endowment for the Arts. To make matters worse, this administration has majority support for their agenda in both houses of Congress. Colleagues, it is in this environment that we must exercise our freedom of expression as never before. Arguably, in my lifetime, there has never been more material to work with in the current zeitgeist for satire, live theater, performance art, painting, muraling, sculpture, poetry, photography, literature, and all forms of expression that challenge indifference, that challenge our thinking, our comfort level, and our conscience. Good art provokes, makes us feel, forces us to think. Art is spiritual, art is carnal, art is primal, art is mysterious. Art is a unique language that informs us in a vocabulary all its own. Art is essential. Art will illuminate where there is only darkness. Art can influence our culture at large, and exposure to art can steer us away from disaster and into enlightened ways of thinking. Art almost always makes us more humane and sensitive to the suffering of others. Art can be a rebirth of the soul. During these uncertain times, at a moment when a lack of concern for basic human decency from our executive branch is exhibited daily, and at a time when the other two branches of government either appear to be complicit, indifferent, or just plain outnumbered, artists must make their voices heard. We as leaders must support the arts in Los Angeles and organizations that mentor artists, cultivate artistic expression, reflect our culture and our desire for artistic excellence. Out of one of our arts organizations or nonprofits may come the next Angels in America, or Awake and Sing, or the next David Alfaro Siqueiros, or the next Dorothea Lange, or Arthur Mitchell, or Frank Romero, or a revolutionary new art form pioneered right here in this city, as yet undiscovered, but sure to alter the cultural landscape for the better. Colleagues, the city of Los Angeles has long been a beacon that attracts artists from all over the world. Behind every celebrity artist, there are thousands more who are constantly creating, constantly producing, and constantly influencing the way we experience our city, the way we look at ourselves, and the way we contemplate our future. It is this cohort of artists, some of whom are represented here today, that often work below the radar, that help bring our identity into focus, an evolving identity that reflects who we are to ourselves and to the rest of the world. Artists in Los Angeles seem to know they have a unique opportunity here to create and to influence movements far beyond any borders. There seems to be a general consensus that collectively, that for the city of Los Angeles, this is our time to be bold, to be declarative, to move forward with a certainty and trust that what we do artistically, politically, and creatively, the rest of the world will take notice. It is, in a way, our responsibility. So let's challenge ourselves, let's be relentless, and let nothing stop us. Thank you. And colleagues, today before us, we have a resolution that I've authored requesting that the Trump administration not eliminate the National Endowment for the Arts. Earlier, I mentioned the importance of live theater, which is something very, very special and important to me personally and professionally. I have with us, a couple of our friends, Daniel Henning, Executive Director of the Blank Theater. Daniel, please be recognized. We have Kanchan Matu of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And we have John Galogli of Theater West. Now, please help me give a big Arts Day welcome to Rory Polans, Executive Director of Arts Education for the Los Angeles Unified School District and one of the recipients of today's awards. Mr. Polans.
Good morning. As was mentioned, my name is Rory Polans, the Executive Director of Arts Education for the Los Angeles Unified School District, and I have been transformed by the arts. You know, I was so fortunate that I had a mother who was visionary, that at the age of 5, in working an extra job, when other parents were not reinvesting in their children, my mother purchased a piano and said, "Young man, you are going to take piano lessons because it is through music, it is through arts that you will be able to change the world." And even though I may not have the economic resources to do this for you forever, you can't stop. You won't stop until you transform the lives of others. And now today, as the Executive Director of Arts Education for LA Unified, we are transforming the lives of some 650,000 students in the largest district in the state of California, the second largest in these United States. And we're transforming these young people. Why? Because the arts matter. You know something? Sure, the arts, those students who are a part of a robust arts curriculum have better attendance in school. higher graduation rates, higher test scores, more scholarships, greater percentage of college degrees. But that's not the only reason why we're transforming these young people in the arts. Because for them to become productive members of this society, they must develop these 21st century skills of communication, creativity, collaboration, critical thinking. These are the skills that the arts develop in our students. These are the skills that will allow this next generation of young people to be creative leaders in the entertainment, creative, artistic industries that not only transforms their own individual lives, but truly brings a change in humanity. When we talk about those who lead in changing, making our world a better place, making our communities a better place, making Los Angeles a better place, that leadership comes under those who have been transformed by the arts. And so in Los Angeles Unified, we are so committed, even when there are shrinking budgets and financial revenues for the arts. We have a school board that is visionary enough to have doubled the arts budget within the last 3 years. That has allowed us to ensure that every single school has an art educator on a campus in LA Unified. But that, my friends, is not enough. We can't stop. We won't stop until every single child in every single school experiences the wonderful opportunity of having their lives transformed by the arts. And this is something that we have to collaborate. We have to work together in order to make this happen. That's why I am so pleased that LA Unified has already partnered with members of our Arts Community Network. There are 42 art organizations in our communities that are servicing 181 additional schools and tens of thousands of students to ensure that they have arts. That's why I am so excited that we created the Creative Industry Coalition, where virtually every single entertainment studio in this city has signed up to provide mentors, resources, funding for the arts. This is something that we can't stop, and we won't stop until every child has the arts. You know something, historically, the arts were always relegated to those who were the most affluent in society. The rich and the powerful are the families who experience the arts. But as I stand before you on this Arts Day in 2017, the arts are for all. The arts are for everyone to experience. It's not just for a certain class of individuals or a certain economic status who should experience the arts. No, the arts are a right that every child deserves to experience, no matter their socioeconomic background, no matter their ethnicity, no matter their place in life. Foster children, homeless children, English language learners, black children, white children, Jews, Gentiles, until we all get together and stand and form a unity and solidarity to promote the arts. Only until then will our communities become a better place. And so, while this is Arts Day, Arts Month, this is actually Arts Year. And those of you who are here in this room today, we applaud you and thank you for making this day absolutely special. We won't stop. We can't stop until everyone experiences the arts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. So Mr. Mullins, I have a personal request. Every single time there's a vote for arts funding or an arts approval of any kind, will you please come and testify before the City Council? All right. In fact, maybe we should plan a lobbying trip to Washington, D.C. Okay, now we're talking. All right. So one of our other outstanding recipients today, joining us is Yossi Sargent, activist and founder of Manifest Events. Mr. Sargent. You bet.
Thank you for having me here this morning, and thank you so much for that rousing and quite daunting intro. I want to start by acknowledging three very important people in the room. I want to start by acknowledging my mother, my wife, and my sister who are sitting here with us today. All three are amazing women, and all three are amazing educators here in Los Angeles who infuse creativity and art into every part of their teaching practice because they understand what parents instinctually know, that all young people thrive when passion and creativity is not just supplemental to, but at the core of education. Thank you for being an amazing inspiration to me, to the young people whose lives you touch, and thank you to all the educators in the room and beyond. You deserve every accolade we have to offer. So I think I can speak for quite a few people in this room to a shared value that each of us hold true, that when we think of the future of Los Angeles, we want to see a healthy and thriving society. But what is it going to take to get there? A complete education for all, a strong and inclusive creative economy, a vibrant democracy, and the continued hard work to deconstruct the systematic and social constructs of racism, sexism, and classism that still stand as obstacles to many. Together, we envision a city of people whose success, safety, and health outcomes are not predetermined by their zip code nor their race. How is the arts, culture, and culture sector a part of bringing equity and shaping this future? The arts, and more specifically the sharing of our personal stories in the context of our heritage and our community, help us build a bridge between the sociological and abstract theories, the individuality that we individually live, the personal dimensions on which these systems of racism and classism actually function. As systems that operate at all levels, individual, cultural, and institutional, racism can be unpacked through the arts in ways that are more accessible than abstract analysis alone. The arts can help us understand its hold on each of us individually as we walk through the institutions and cultural practices that ultimately sustain those very systems. We know that the aesthetic experience of a personal story told through forms such as visual arts, theater, and dance can help us think more intimately, more deeply, and more creatively about racism. The aesthetic experience offers a productive space where we can tackle proactive and provocative and charged topics, encountered and engaged on a deeply emotional and transformational way. They are a means for engaging emotion, for learning about ourselves and each other, for keeping us aware about the hidden ways that racism works in our society, and for envisioning new possibilities. The arts also help us encounter our neighbors and our community in more authentic and honest ways. Aesthetic experience create what Maxine Greene calls an opening for both the creator and the consumer to contend with and extend and deepen what each of us thinks of when we speak of as community. Ultimately, the arts provide ideals and images towards which we aspire as a society. They offer ways for people who are oppressed by current structures, as well as those who benefit consciously and unconsciously from the status quo, to imagine more just and equitable ways for constructing a social order that includes us all, in theory and in practice. A city racial equity policy would better address people of all races who desire a more just, equitable, and democratic social order. I personally believe the arts can be a powerful tool for motivating and sustaining democratic change, and I believe Los Angeles is the perfect place to do it.
Well done. Thank you so much, Mr. Sargent. Next, we have a Third recipient is Mason Williams, Director of Digital Product Development at Mattel Incorporated. Mr. Williams.
Thank you for having me today. I'd like to offer the idea of the diversity of thought. The diversity of thought is what the arts spawned in me as a young artist and teacher, and then eventually as a game and toy designer. The diversity of thought is what brings all of our different perspectives to light. The diversity of thought is what pushes the social fabric forward. And the arts and arts education are the gateway to unlocking the diversity of thought that lies not only within this room and within the artist community which we represent, but everyone out there, from the youth to the senior. I stand before you as a lifelong martial artist. I began training in 1980, and it was a key to unlocking my passion and my exploration into the world of art. I see through the arts, we see that people are able to connect, commune. It breaks down walls. It also challenges us to see the differences and the similarities which we all share. In my professional career, I am concerned because there is a lack of diversity, not just of creed and color, but of thought. And why is that? Because the paths towards creating the artist community are slowly being choked out. And as a proud member and graduate of the Los Angeles Unified School District, I remember back in the 1980s when we had arts education very prominent in all of our classes. Now, I work as an advisory board member at the Augustus F. Hawkins School, where they infused gaming and programming and artistic design into all of the curriculum. This is a wonderful program because it is now reopening those paths that were once closing. In my professional life, again, I work as a game designer, a toy designer. And in the rooms that I sit in, there aren't many people who look like me. To me, that is a concern. Why? Because if we are going to connect with the kids of the kids and our consumers, we must offer them an array, a myriad of different experiences, be the magical experience of youth, and through play, that then may inspire the next generation's leaders. It is an honor and a pleasure to sit in a room filled with artists who inspire not only each other, but inspire our communities. And I would say, in the sea of red shirts that you see behind you, this is a movement. This is a movement that has been going on for quite some time. And with the support of the City Council, it would be amazing to see the potential from which we will unlock in the future. As Councilman O'Farrell said, we stand in tenuous times. Our executive branch flies an affront to the diversity of thought, the homogeneity of the status quo, the unwillingness to look outside of one's own myopic vision. These are the things that stagnate our progress as a society and as a human race. It is incumbent upon all of us as advocates and champions of the arts to continue the fight, to move forward, to see, to witness the beauty that the arts unlock. Challenge ourselves. Be challenged by it. Commune with each other. See the beauty in our differences. See the commonalities that our differences may spawn. The diversity of thought must be reborn and revisited daily. for stagnation is tantamount to death. And that is not the path that we are set upon. I thank you very much, and as a true fan of the city of Los Angeles and born and raised my whole life here, I am grateful for this opportunity. I am grateful to stand in front of this amazing group of artists and advocates and allies from across the spectrum. So thank you very much, and I hope to see great things come from this day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As you can see, our recipients had a whole lot to say because it needs to be said, and that's what the arts are all about, freedom of expression. I want to acknowledge our General Manager of the Department of Cultural Affairs, Danielle Brazel, who is with us today. And the entire Department of Cultural Affairs, who are, I think some members are here. Please be known. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Arts Day would not be possible without the dedicated staff of Arts for LA. I would like to give a special thanks to Jennifer Fukutomi Jones, Charles Flowers, and Ebril Iñiguez for their dedication and commitment to arts and culture in Los Angeles. A team would not be a team without its leader. Sophia Klatzker is the Executive Director of Arts for LA. You can applaud for Sophia. As she will attest, Arts for LA encourages a continued commitment to advancing the role creativity plays in fueling our region's workforce through arts education and youth development, fostering cultural tourism for the city's projected 45.5 million annual visitors, and we're on our way to 50 in the year 2020, and enhancing the quality of life for all our 4 million residents. Colleagues, Sophia Klatzker. Sure, you bet.
Good morning. Thank you, Councilmember O'Farrell, and to all the members of the Council. I want to acknowledge the deeply committed and hardworking city family here today, especially the Department of Cultural Affairs, the Human Relations Commission, and many of the other offices who make up this great administration. We stand here today to thank you for your leadership and your support. It is my honor to serve as the Executive Director of Arts for LA and to stand alongside such incredible speakers and arts advocates who represent the arts community and voice of our city. We cultivate and grow remarkable people here who are passionate big thinkers, as evidenced this morning. Today, we applaud your past investments in the arts and encourage a continued commitment to advancing the role arts and creativity play in fueling our region's workforce through arts education and youth development, addressing systemic inequities and opening communication specifically for building trust, fostering cultural tourism, and enhancing the quality of life for our 4 million residents. Los Angeles has the highest number and greatest concentration of creative industry jobs in the U.S., representing 1 in 6 jobs locally, 13% of the total private wage and salary income, earning revenues of $7.7 billion, and has expected growth of 7% over the next 2 years. However, arts and creativity are not only a major local economic force, they are also vehicles for social change. The arts are a way to say, we are alive, we have a voice, and we can tell our stories and share our lives, building trust and stronger communities. We celebrate the City of Los Angeles' focus on racial equity, introduced in 2015 by Council President Wesson and Councilman O'Farrell, resulting in the Embrace program. The Embrace partnership between the Department of Cultural Affairs, the Human Relations Commission, and the LAPD began as a way to foster stronger race relations, engaging residents across the city through dialogue and arts-based activities. Given the tremendous cross-department partnership, the illuminating race survey data, and the deep role the arts play in promoting communication, trust, and bridge building, we are here today to advocate for the creation and adoption of a citywide, clear, comprehensive racial equity policy. We also know that no single department's budget is able to cover the costs resulting from this kind of program to make it a success. We support the city's creation of a centralized fund to properly resource the programming to achieve racial equity across the city that would be dedicated to equitably reaching all neighborhoods. And we ask for this investment so that we can promote healing and remove institutionalized racism. We applaud the Council's attention to addressing the importance of murals over the last few years. Murals are, for many of us, the first exposure to visual arts, to seeing people being actively creative in our neighborhoods, to seeing individuals making a difference in our lives. We need more murals because all of our neighborhoods deserve access to creative expression, cultural reflections, and seeing themselves in their communities. To do this, we ask for renewed investment to restore and commission new fine arts murals across the city of Los Angeles. Supporting the arts is a social justice issue. We need to be able to serve every person in every neighborhood across the city. This is best achieved by sustaining and increasing funding for the Department of Cultural Affairs. Given the size of our local creative economy and the reach of DCA, including how the agency is bringing greater visibility to the entire region, fostering relationships with both arts organizations and individual artists, working across the city with various departments such as Metro and LAPD, and increasing delivery of services through new innovative programs, we advocate for sustaining and increasing funding for DCA to meet the growing demands of the community and individual neighborhoods seeking to benefit from this vital investment. Later on the agenda, Councilmember O'Farrell mentioned that item number 67 establishes the city's position to protect current funding and increase the budget for the National Endowment for the Arts, now and in the future. I am proud to live in a city with such clear priorities, and we encourage the Council to think locally as well as nationally when looking at the importance of public funding for the arts. Arts for LA and our community of advocates, all seen here in their sea of red, are committed to providing a bridge connecting this powerful arts community and your leadership. We are a city seeking freedom to express our ideas, to be wildly creative, to forge our own pathways while honoring our elders and those who have come before us. Arts, culture, and creativity play a central role in our city, making it vibrant, prosperous, and livable. Thank you for this moment to focus on the best of who we are. We stand ready for the future with you. And we have a gift for Councilmember O'Farrell. This is for you.
Oh, sweet.
Just as an acknowledgement of your leadership.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Mr. Harris Dawson?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair and colleagues. I want to rise to thank Mr. O'Farrell for bringing this presentation and all the arts advocates that we see in the audience today coming in strong and forcefully to make a case for one of the most important aspects of our society. I wanted to rise and congratulate the honorees today. Some of you I know, like Yoshi, and some of you I really know. Colleagues, Mr. Rory Pullins was my teacher in high school. And let's just say he was a really good arts teacher because he helped me understand that my future was not in the arts, but in public service. And so we appreciate all the energy that he and all the advocates for the arts bring today to the city of Los Angeles, which we should never forget is the creative capital of the world.
Mr. Englander?
Farrell, thank you so much for this day and each and every day. You know, we've been saying for far too long we've got to put art back into STEM and make it STEAM. And that's what we've been doing, certainly working with Cultural Affairs Department, all the honorees today. That I wanted to stand and let you know about a program. I don't know if Ron Rubine from my staff is down here or not, but I know he's in the building today. He came up with a concept a couple years ago called Making Movies That Matter, and it's now turned into the largest youth film festival and filmmaking program in the city of Los Angeles. It's really phenomenal. In fact, Apple's behind it. We just got Disney on board. All the studios are lining up, And we have over 1,000 kids that actually make movies here in Los Angeles and present them for an award show, and it's truly incredible. But the whole idea of giving people an opportunity, because this is the creative capital of the world, and we have to home grow a future workforce. We've got to make sure that it's not just the folks that are in front of the camera, but the ones that are behind the camera, the ones that are building sets and the grips, the ones that really get in the trenches of creativity and writing and directing, and that's what it's all about, and making sure that we grow that workforce here. And it's so exciting to see so many young people getting involved because they haven't had the opportunity because we've taken so much money out of these programs. And Mr. O'Farrell, you're absolutely right. We've got to stand up every day and make sure that we invest in our future, and it's really about creativity and the arts. A lot of people don't know, but in my district, I know it's famous for certain films in Chatsworth, but there are many other films as well in the industry that were filmed, all the cowboy movies, Stony Point, certainly Chatsworth Nature Preserve, and so many other places. And it really was the beginning of the creativity of filmmaking here in Los Angeles, was in the Northwest San Fernando Valley, and it remains very strong and vibrant there today. We also have a new jewel that many of you may not be aware of, but one of the fastest growing, most exciting museums here in Los Angeles called the Valley Relics Museum. And it's phenomenal. It's really, really cool. It grabs and takes all of the relics throughout the San Fernando Valley, from all the signs of all the old restaurants, the neons, from the beginning of stages of filmmaking here in Los Angeles. It's open to the public. It's a 501c3, so I encourage everybody to check it out online, the San Fernando Valley Relics Museum. And I can go on, but I just wanted to thank you all, because this day and every day in art is so important to this city. So thank you. God bless you all.
Mr. Price?
Thank you, Madam President. I too want to just stand and salute the arts. Special thanks to our colleague, Mr. O'Farrell, and the awardees, to the special role that cultural arts, the Cultural Affairs Department plays in helping to nurture and to encourage the arts in our community. It's just so exciting. And we know that art is not only a source of inspiration, of excitement, of certainly a personal and communal experience, but it's also a tool for economic development, as you pointed out. It creates jobs, creates businesses, it creates opportunities. And so I'm just so happy to join with you today as we celebrate Arts Day, and we really need to do more to incorporate it as a part of our daily life, our daily celebration. We're very excited in the 9th District. We've been creating murals, we've been restoring murals, we've been creating green alleys, again, to just underscore the importance and the ability to create new spaces in ways that we haven't before. Of course, Exposition Park is a jewel, not just in District 9, but citywide and really in Southern California. We're excited about the museums there and the plans for the Lucas Museum, which will add to it. And so I'm just happy to stand with you, know that you certainly have a friend, a supporter in the 9th District, and we look forward to encouraging the arts, encouraging artistic expression. In music, of course, we have the Central Avenue Jazz Fest coming up in end of July, but also spoken word, written word, and just expressions of creativity. We want to salute you and salute the arts. So thank you.
Mr. Cedillo?
Yes, I want to take a moment also to applaud the efforts to celebrate the arts. We've really jumped at it in our district. One of our first acts here was to lift the mural ban. This suffering mural ban that was oppressive on all the incredible muralists that this city has. This city's been blessed with a cadre and a community of muralists that have taken the lives of regular Angelenos and many of our stars and placed them up on the walls for us to appreciate each other. And they bring our communities together, and it's one of the things I always look at as when I travel is public art, and that is one of the great expressions. As Mr. Huizar's not here, but we're very proud of our roots in Boyle Heights. We're proud of the Chicano mural movement. I actually grew up across the street from Frank Romero and have fond memories of being with him as a child, as he chased me away from his house. My mother sent me across the street to help Delia with the groceries, and he said, "Get out of here, little boy." But it's a separate story. But you know, those muralists were emulating the Mexican muralists who were part of the Mexican Revolution and then part of the great movements during World War II. And so art plays a central role of bringing communities together, people becoming aware of each other. I'm very proud of our collaboration with Jose Rizzo and with the Latin Jazz Music Festival. We kind of see ourselves as the partner, the brother, the sister to the Central Avenue Jazz Festival. It is flourishing. It is becoming more and more popular. It is something I'm very proud of. But not just the Latin Jazz Music Festival. In our district, at Nightingale Middle School, we have an orchestra. We have an orchestra, 200 families participate. That classical orchestra is part of the Azteca America Orchestra. It's the pilot of a program that has over 13,000 people participating in Mexico, has thousands others participating throughout Central America and Latin America. That is right here in my district at Nightingale Middle School, and I'm very proud of it because it brings 200 families together. It's not just the person with the instrument, but it's the whole family that gets involved in the activity, making space in households where there's not a lot of space to practice, bringing their children to and from both the practice and then the performances. They performed with Placido Domingo just last year. It was an amazing event, so I'm very proud of that. But I'm also proud of what's happening right at the grassroots level. Last night, there was Zumba. There was some incredible Zumba, incredible immigrant women taking their lives in control, understanding that art is part of mental health and physical health. And they were taking their lives in control, knowing the circumstances around the world are challenging. The circumstances that come from Washington are difficult for us. They put a specter over the entire community, but they were going to be healthy, and they were making their moves, and they were embracing art as all it means to us, as a vehicle for us to get the fulfillment of what we are destined to be as human beings. And that's what art does. It is the fulfillment of what our destiny is. And so I want to thank all those. I thank you for your leadership. You've been an incredible leader and a great collaborator since we've been here. Thank you so much. God bless each and everybody.
Mr. O'Farrell, thank you very much. As you know, I'm a proud product of LAUSD, a student of drama and dance, and sometimes when we get to act around here, I think I do pretty well.
I think so too.
Congratulations. At LAUSD as a board member, I led the effort to make the arts a core subject. I hope we can continue on that trajectory. Congratulations, everyone. Great job. Thank you very much, Mr. O'Farrell.
Thank you. So on that note, Madam President, we declare April 19th, 2017, Arts Day in the City of Los Angeles. Thank you and congratulations. Spring Street steps. Artists.
Thank you very much. Okay, members, if I can please ask you to take your seats, we have to run through the agenda. Members of the audience, if I can please ask you to please leave quietly. We need to resume our meeting. Thank you. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue Wesson. 12 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Councilmember O'Farrell moves and Councilmember Bob Blumenfield seconds.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Harris Dawson moves and Councilmember Price seconds. Next.
Madam President, there are requests to continue items 1C and 1H to May 3.
Okay, that will be the order without objection. Next.
Additionally, the Department of Building and Safety requests that the following items be received and filed. 1B, E, and F, as the liens have been paid in full. 1A, as the property has been determined to be an owner-occupied single-family dwelling. And further, the Department recommends that the lien amount on item 1I be reduced to $585.09 due to the receipt of partial payment.
Okay, without objection, that will be the order. And what's next?
Items 1 through 20 are items noticed for public hearing.
Do we have cards on those items?
There are cards on items 1 and 6.
Members, are there any specials on items 1 through 20? Okay, seeing none, let's close public hearing. Can we open the roll? Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, what's next?
Items 21 through 48 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Members, are there any specials on items 21 through 48?
I think 46 was the one. 46. 46. No. I'm sorry.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we're going to go ahead and hold item 46. On the remaining balance, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, what's next, Madam Clerk?
Items 49 through 67 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, without objection, those items are before us. Mr. O'Farrell?
Will you hold item 67, please?
Let's hold item 67 for Mr. O'Farrell.
You're good. Okay.
And Madam President, we have cards on all the items.
On all items, items 49 through 67, we have cards on. Members, any specials? Go ahead, what's next?
Items 68 and 69 are items scheduled for closed session. Would you like to hold those on the desk?
I'm going to go ahead and refer to Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Items 68 and 69 are both settlements that have been considered by Budget and Finance, which recommends approval of the City Attorney's recommendations. Those matters can both be voted on in open session unless members have questions or concerns.
Madam Clerk? Thank you, Mr. Krikorian.
On item 68, in the case entitled Stacy Larson and Stephen Potofsky versus the City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend a total of $9.5 million in settlement. And on item 69, in the case entitled Clifford Anderson versus the City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend a total of $1,734,320.19.
Okay, those items are now before us. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
12 ayes.
Okay, let's move on to item 50.
Item 50 called special for cards.
Mr. Herman, item 50, and Mr. Walsh have both submitted cards for item 50. Are you here? Mr. Walsh, why don't you come up first?
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. You have here $300 million bond issue, deeper and deeper in debt. Your problem is you can't pay out the settlements without bonded indebtedness. And since you just awarded $9 million in one settlement without any talk here about it, $9 million and another $1.4 million. I'm telling you right now that you are heading for bankruptcy. And my homeland is Switzerland. That's where my people came from. And I'm saying to the fellow Swiss, don't come here. No
the speaker
Olympics
is off topic,
in Los
Madam
Angeles.
President.
HollywoodHighlands.org, $300 million in revenue bonds. $300 million there.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Mr. Herman? Item 50.
Just another deficit. Another deficit. More millions of dollars going to waste. No accountability. You heard the goat man over here giving away $1 million on a settlement. So how much further do you want to raise the taxes on the poor? How much more do you want people to suffer? The children who wear their homeless shirts. It's a matter of time before a ceiling deficit collapses in the city of Los Angeles because we got a bunch of crooks. Yeah, rookie. Rookie. When I speak, rookie, I want you to take account.
The speaker is off topic, Madam President.
I'm talking about the millions of dollars that are going to waste, fraud, and abuse. Stop fucking up America. Stop fucking with us in Los Angeles and get the budget deficit corrected. Check and balance. Bah! Dumbass.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. Let's go ahead. There are no more comments on item 50. Let's go ahead and open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Item passes. Let's go ahead and vote on urgent forthwith on this item. Let's open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Madam Clerk, let's move on to item 55.
Item 55, called special for cards.
Mr. Walsh, item 55. He passes. Herman, item 55. He passes. Let's go ahead and there are no more cards on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Mr. Cedillo, are you ready for your presentation, sir?
I am. Come here. You're ready, huh? Estás listo, huh? Ready, mijo?
Steven, this is Mr. Steven.
Sí, no, Steven knows me.
Say hi.
Hi, mijo. If you look up there, you see yourself. Huh? Ready? Okay, thank you. I'm happy to be here this morning to talk about what was referred to as the East Los Angeles Remarkable Citizens Association, and broken down, of course, as we do on the east side, to El Arca. Formed in 1965, they provide day services for more than 300 families. El Arca has been operating in the same building in Lincoln Heights community since 1978. El Arca's mission is to enhance the quality of life for persons with developmental disabilities and their families by providing quality programs in a compassionate and caring environment. Right here in Lincoln Heights, across from Lincoln Park, staff, administrators, board members, and volunteers of El Arca believe in the equal worth and dignity of all persons with developmental disabilities and are committed to provide the best quality of care and opportunities to their maximum potential. They've hosted the Special Olympics, and together as a society, we must work with them to promote acceptance and inclusion of persons with developmental disabilities as contributing members of our society. The Los Angeles City Council commends East Los Angeles Remarkable Citizens Association, Inc., or popularly referred to as El Arca, for contributing 50 years of service to persons with developmental disabilities in the city of Los Angeles. On behalf of El Arca is their president and CEO, John Menchaca, and the chairman of the board, Ed Villegas. I ask them to join us. They're doing an incredible job. All you have to do is visit the campus to understand what a special community this is. It was exciting to be there as the Special Olympians came in and we hosted them. They're constantly pushing the edge in terms of making sure that the developmental community and their families are integrated and brought into the mainstream of our community in Northeast Los Angeles. They are true angels and angelinos of our better nature. Please let me introduce John Menchaca.
Thank you.
Doing a wonderful job. Okay.
Thank you so much. We are honored and humbled to be invited here today. Being invited here from La Ciudad de Los Angeles, city of Los Angeles, the greatest city, not just in the nation, but in the world. And we talked a lot about arts today, so, they stole a little bit of our thunder here today. But for all the artists that are left here and they're not out there taking pictures, let me tell you where we practice the art of compassion every day, 50 weeks a year, and that place is called El Arca. It started back in 1965 by a group of mothers, such as the ones that are here with us today, looking for services for their children that had no programs whatsoever. And as some of you folks may remember, the late 1950s and the 1960s were a movement for the developmental and the disabilities community. Here we are today, 50 years later, and we are here doing what we do best, assisting our families through our mission, through day programming, through respite for our parents, through education, through specialized transportation. And let me tell you folks, El Arca is one of the few organizations that services each and every district that's here today. Mr. Cedillo is very proud of having the Special Olympics being Lincoln Heights, the host town, the only host town community in the city of Los Angeles that hosted the 2015 Special Olympics. But let me tell you, that's a big deal, but a bigger deal is El Arca. We were there to host it. We're here now to provide services to all of your districts. We go to all parts of Los Angeles with the exception of the valley and the desert areas. We have a transportation fleet second to access in terms of the number of persons that we transport with disabilities. So all of you here that are here today, other councilmen, please, you'll be seeing and hearing more about El Arca because we're growing. We're servicing over 260 families today. We have a second facility in the southeast that we have been licensed for another 300 families. So we're growing. You'll be seeing and hearing us more. But remember, artist or non-artist, the art of compassion is what really makes all of our communities greater. And El Arca, with that in hand, we will welcome that support that comes through that compassion, through the arts, non-arts, and we welcome it because we need your support in order for this great mission to continue. Again, I'll stop now because each said I could only talk for 2 minutes. I can talk for a lot longer, but I'd like to bring up Mr. Ed Villegas. He's our chairman of the board. He has something to say to you.
Hello, thank you for having me, and thank you for the support that you
are to offer to our organization. We are an organization that enhances the life of people that are developmentally challenged, and we require your support. And we want to thank you very much for having us. And here behind me, there are some of the members that represent us. Thank you. Thank you. And I wanted to mention some of the members here. This is Andrea and her son, Stephen, and then Charlotte and Mercedes. She's standing behind me. And here we have Andrea and Eddie.
Eddie.
Yes, Eddie. So this is what ELACA represents. The work that we do is for these people. I'm a volunteer, and many of the people behind me too, and the ones that could not come with us, they are doing this work. That is very important for our city. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Eddie and John, let me tell you that the city thanks you for your incredible leadership and your support and your accomplishments. 50 years young. I'm sorry. We thank you. Here we go. Where are you? Here's Betsy. Come over here. Give me a look at the camera. Come over here.
Everybody, come over here.
There you go.
Come on over. All right.
So, okay, let's go.
We can go take pictures in the back.
Yes.
You want to grab all your
Thank
stuff?
you.
Everybody go that way?
Just right over here. If you want to grab all your stuff, so we can go that way. Go to the back. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Cedillo.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, let's go ahead and move on to item 46. Let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Thank you. That item passes. We're going to go ahead and take multiple cards, speaker cards. Mr. Previn, are you here? Come on up.
You want to do that?
First speaking on is general public comment, item 1A, 1B, 1D, 1F, 1I, 52, 53, 54, 56, 58, 59, 60, 63, 64, 65, and 67. Go ahead.
Hi, it is Eric Previn, and I am from Studio City. It has been very hard to get oriented because there was a huge line out the door, and they were not letting people in during those presentations. 50, it's very hard. I ordinarily have a minute to catch my breath. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, so 54 is the, first of all, you just approved 46. I had signed up on that. Is that not permissible to speak on that item?
That you
Yeah, I know you just approved 46. May I comment on that item?
No.
No, you did not.
Okay, 54, then that's a problem because you should allow comments. Martinez, O'Farrell, Krikorian, and Mr. Blumenfield leading on this one is a BOE motion, and it has to do with the LA River Valley Bikeway and Greenway design. Completion project. So that's the category. And I have something to say about the river development and the River Greenway project. I think that we're doing a really good job of bringing out ways to be alternative to vehicles on the road, and bike on a greenway is a great area. We should definitely have, this is not the one where you have the rubber company providing guidance. That's another item by Mr. Weezar, where that is also on the available to speak on items. But in all these cases, I'm excited about making it possible for bicyclists. What I'm concerned about is overweighting bicyclists and penalizing drivers all over the place, which I'm noticing with Vision Zero. In Studio City at Great Streets, Lancashire didn't pass through the neighborhood council there, it lost 10-8. And I think it's because people are concerned about giving up roadway lanes for bikes. Now, the bicyclists are not concerned about it because I think they would love it if there were no cars on the road in some ways. And I'm not anti-bicycle. I spend time bicycling regularly. I think it's a good area. But I'm very concerned. This is just more of same, and we have to look closely at the roots of why so much of, for example, Bonin last week or a couple weeks ago tried to take our pothole money and divert it to Vision Zero. I just think that the public needs to have all of the data, and the real data, not the deceptive data on these matters. And I think that the sooner we get that, the better. And I think we should hold off, quite frankly, on the massive road. The other thing about the River Greenway project is, up and down the river in my district and in the other districts, there are issues. There are issues with public safety, but also with the humane treatment of individuals who are in and among that group. I know, Ms. Martinez, you're familiar with that. And I think that finding the right solutions. Today we were going to talk about some of the affordable housing issues. I can't even get there now because of the weird hammerlock on this meeting that was sort of hijacked. So is it now my general public comment?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to try to just be 1 minute. I know people are eager to get to the stuff. This is a public meeting, is my understanding. And today, one of the LAPD was standing out in the corridor with garbage cans, blocking entry, and he was treating it very much like a nightclub. I've never seen such a thing in a public meeting. It's totally inappropriate to be picking and clicking who could be admitted to the meeting. Now, I am a writer, and I noticed that some members of the press today, Dan Gus is over here, he's got now suddenly an LAPD pass. When has that been, is that something that you need to participate in the public meeting? A pass from the police department? I'm happy to get one. I mean, I'm in the LA Press Club, I'm a Writers Guild of America, I've done a lot of writing. I don't understand why people, and it's not just me, the writer, the critic, but a lot of people were just kind of sent away, I guess because Mr. O'Farrell had some arts presentation he wanted to make, and that I know there's an item on the agenda for the NEA. I love arts. I mean, I am a artsy guy, and yet I could not participate in the meeting. I think you need to rethink what you're doing here, and I think you ought to do it quickly and in compliance with the law. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. Next speaker is Yvonne Autry. Are you here? Ms. Autry, you filled out cards for general public comment and items 49, 53, 56, 58, and 59. Go ahead.
58, and what was the last one?
59.
58 and 59. Okay, yes, firstly, addressing item number 49, I would most definitely like to, Yes, most definitely. Instead of giving so much money to funding and creating the creation of this police state under martial law, in which we find more predominantly black African Americans and homeless people, or people that have been diagnosed as being emotionally challenged, who are facing police brutality because of that diagnosis or misdiagnosis, I would definitely encourage you to
wandered off topic.
No, I'm about to. I did digress, but I'm about to make my statement completely relevant and relative to the item. Okay, what I was about to say is that money should be allocated, of course, to helping and to aiding and to supporting senior citizens as well as children, but most definitely the elders that have survived even in this society this far. They should have all of the necessities that they need. Relative to item number, let's see, the next item, 53, I would like to say that, I just got here. Yes, most definitely we have been in a state of homeless emergency because that is an engineered homeless community because of the revenue, of course, that it brings the city. Most of that money does not reach the homeless people that are most destitute, so that money should be allocated for not just food and blankets and socks, which exists in a plethora on Skid Row, but in helping the people re-enter society, regain their life skills so that they can not just be yeah, they can be most productive and that they can be most functional, not just put in the trash for your revenue for the service providers and that revenue in the granting that occurs or that they receive on a federal or a state level, but to help them to recoup and to regain their sense of worth and their position and their functional position in society. So I definitely encourage that because that population is, of course, predominantly black, people of color, and so that is most important. I would also like to support item 56. We need homeless shelters, especially for women, the women that are in the street, vulnerable not only to sex predators, vampires, cannibals. Some children, women that look young like me, they don't know if we're young or they can fulfill their fantasies. They don't know if we're boys or girls. Some of them would rather that we be little boys. But at any rate, outside of that, that corrupted, perverted mentality. They need housing. We're people. We're not animals. We're not creatures. I, of course, have an apartment, but have been labeled homeless because I'm single. So we need that shelter for the...
Ms. Autry, you can start on your general public comment now.
Yeah, we need that. That's most important because the majority of the money has been going to the police department. So I'm glad that I was able to address that. It was as it has come before the council, so that was relevant, and it was... I was not late in speaking on that item. I'd also wanted to bring to the council's the attention. This item had already been heard. I'd been a potential victim of that knock-knock burglar, but I just don't answer my door. But that has happened even though I live in an apartment building. You know, that's happened in my present edifice as well as when I lived in the Hayward. So I hope you have apprehended that individual. I'd like to speak in exposition of maintenance men. I've brought this up before. I don't know if they're Mexican mafia, they are Hispanic, and they do prey on women, single, black women, petite women. They're bringing their culture with them. They think that single women are to be abused, used as prostitutes, attacked and
Thank you, Ms. Autry. Thank you very much. Your time is up, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Walsh? Mr. Walsh, you filled out cards for 1A, 1B, 49, 51A, 52, 53, and 56. 2 minutes, sir. For
John
the general
Walsh,
public comment.
blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or jwalshconfidential.com and tweeting at Hollywood Dems. Number 50. This is our pipes in this city are falling apart. You're going to have to borrow $300 million. And I ask those people who are videotaping this, does anybody here say anything about our pipes? No. And when your neighborhood has broken pipes, and it doesn't go into black and brown neighborhoods, it goes into every neighborhood. When your neighborhood has broken pipes, what's going to happen then? Because these people don't give a damn. Look at it. Number 50, $300 million revenue bonds just to patch up the pipes. And no one gives a damn about it. Not one of you people, not Krikorian, not anyone, not Anglander, none of these people give a damn about the piping system. Again, my relatives in Switzerland, where I come from, my great-grandfather comes from, don't give them the Olympics because the pipes will break at UCLA where they broke before, destroying...
Madam President, we seem to have veered off.
This is $300 million in wastewater. That's what I'm talking about, Mr. City Attorney. So shut the hell up.
Mr. Walsh,
And I'm telling you,
you
number
spoke on
30,
this item
51.
already during your prior minute. Please get on the items that the president
51.
announced for this session.
See, the other people, they don't give a damn because they don't hit where it hurts. I'm talking about wastewater. I'm talking about, that's exactly what this is on the agenda. And they don't give a living shit about
Mr. Walsh, now you're on your general public comment.
General public comment. We're negative? We're not negative. Vote for Cedillo. Vote for Cedillo. Vote for Cedillo against the LA Times candidate. And I want to say, Ethics Commission did an excellent job. They hammered yesterday at Jimmy Blackman. I know you don't know who the hell he was. He was the second most powerful person when Villaraigosa was mayor. And what did they do? They fined him $4,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $22,500 up the ass. That's what they gave Jimmy Blackman. And I'm telling you, our monitors here, look at them. They used to have English captioning. They don't have English captioning anymore. And if you're deaf or hard of hearing, don't come to this meeting because they don't give a living shit about you, because if you come here, you better be able to read lips at 500 feet.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Next speaker, Herman. Herman, you filled out cards for general public comment 1A, 1B, 1D, 1E, 1F, 1G, 1I, 49, 51A, 51B, 51C, 51D, 51E, 51F, 51G, 52, 53, 54, 57, 58, 49, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, and number 6. You have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, Madam Speaker, since this is a puppet show on item number 6 regarding Herb Wesson and the other gentleman in that council district, Peppa Pig, CD5, it talks about the hearing protest of an ordinance first consideration to relative improvements and maintenance on the Beverly Culver City Street. Is that correct, Mr. Herb Wesson? Oh, no comment. Absolutely not. And then I went into CD. Oh, never mind. Let me just go to the back of the book under my other items, since I signed up on all items as a puppet, because you like listening to puppets. So, now regarding motion of Price and Rule, funding for the fencing. Well, I agree with Trump. We need more fencing and to board up all the acres of eyesore properties on Wall Street. After all, Eric Garcetti, the mayor, doesn't care about fencing. All he cares about is parading around town with his boyfriend. But now, since the children are here, and I'm on item number, you said I was talking about item 60. What, ma'am? 6? How about 57? No, how about 55? No, wait, let me go back. Correct me, rookie. Correct me, rookie. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry, I found it. Weezer and O'Farrell, relative to celebrating Fiesta Broadway. Well, fuck Broadway, because I'm homeless and I can't sleep on the sidewalk until a certain time. Now, if you would use the measure money as an anniversary kickoff and celebration for Cinco de Mayo, I can live off the street.
Now you're on to your 1 minute of general public comment, Mr. Herman.
So here you go, another puppet show, and the demise of such a forum, of a quorum. Look at the two, Dibble Dwarf and Herb the Purger. They made the latest news on City Watch. Aren't you not ashamed? Are you not? And yet Mr. Price, the biggest, has made his debut on television in the news. 2 wives, 2 lives. I want to go into a song like this, and it goes off like this. Once upon a time, there were two lives. I had a wife, Richardson, who couldn't celebrate with me. So I gave her up to everybody who was happily to be. I was screwing two wives, and it happened to me. Oh, now go. Look at the show. This isn't the only way my life is going to go. But I got a rookie city attorney who doesn't care about pimps. That's why I'm moving to the valley to...
Thank you very much, Mr. Herman. You can sit down now. Your time is up. Patricia McAllister, are you here? Patricia McAllister, are you here? Patricia McAllister, are you here? There you are. You filled out cards for general public comment, items 1A, 56, and 58. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I'm against creating a new bank account for Council District 14. That's Jose Huzard. He's not here today. He should be here. He want to use it for funding affordable housing. Now, Jose has over 4,000 homeless people in his district. I say 4,000 because it was 3,000 a year and a half ago. By now, while most of his people in his district, they're illegal aliens, they're living in the affordable housing while the Americans are living on the street and in tents in his district. I think this new bank account that he is asking for will be used to stuff his pockets and his girlfriend's pockets. Not his wife, his girlfriend's. That's what I think. Now, we don't have a homeless shelter crisis in this city. We really have an illegal alien crisis where illegals are given and they're living in the government-subsidized affordable housing. We don't need more shelters. We need illegals to be thrown out of affordable housing. We should not have a system where illegal aliens can crawl across the border today and get into an affordable housing tomorrow. Because we have no law. We have laws, but we're not enforcing the laws where you should be a citizen.
I'm going to ask you to hold her time. Members of the audience, she has First Amendment rights. It's her general. She's got every right to speak on this. I'm going to ask you to please be patient and not interrupt speakers while they speak. Thank you. As uncomfortable as it is. Go ahead, Ms. McAllister.
Okay, thank you, madam. Now, here, item 1 about the affordable housing, people losing their houses, rather. The people getting liens on their houses. I'm against the 250% penalty fee for the homeowners. That is called usury. Usury is where you charge up very, very high interest rates, okay? The Jews created usury. We need to bring this down to 10 to 15%. We don't need 2.5 times that because most homeowners can't afford to pay that anyway. They can't even afford to get their houses fixed. So you know they can't afford to pay this 250%. I've seen it where homeowners have to pay $3,000, $4,000 in penalties when they need just $800 to fix the violation. So this does not make sense. This is not a gangster, I don't think, a gangster council. This is supposed to be a council that represents the people. Even though we only have 10, excuse me over here, hey, excuse me.
Ms. McAllister, you need to continue.
Even though we only have 10% of the voters voting, we need to have illegals taken out of this city. Sanctuary cities we're not going to have. I can't wait till the tanks roll in to start arresting you politicians who are hiding and protecting illegal aliens in Los Angeles. I expect the mayor to be arrested and the council members to be arrested. You Democrats.
No, I'm not talking on any of the subject matters.
Now let's
get back on the topics.
Okay, I can't hear because of this over here, madam.
Nothing to do with you. You are now on general public comment. Go
Okay,
ahead and put a
public comment. Critics say that LA lawyer Peter Shea, he's a liberal, he's Jewish and he's a Democrat, and he's a border buster. We met Friday here, and they want to make Peter Shea the new illegal alien protector. Now, let me give you some background on Peter Shea. He was one of the first lawyers in the country to bring class action lawsuits against the Immigration and Nationalization Service behalf on illegal aliens. He successfully led the fight against Proposition 187 in 1994, okay, that denied illegal aliens health care in California. So he got illegal aliens health care. He got their kids in the schools. He did all of this. And now you guys want to hire him to save you. He can't help you now. We coming in with tanks to get these illegal aliens out of here. And Herb Wesson tried to physically have me thrown out Friday. He called a 2-day meeting to get this guy elected. I'm asking Herb Wesson to get an alcoholic treatment, get into alcohol treatment. You are an alcoholic. I know an alcoholic when I see one that gets some treatment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, we're going to go ahead and vote on the following items. Mr. Herman, can you please be quiet? Thank you. We're going to vote on items 49, 51, 52, 53, 54, 56, 57, 58, 59, and items 60 through 66. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, item 67 is before us. Mr. O'Farrell.
Madam Chair, item 24 forthwith, please. 24.
Item 24 forthwith for Mr. O'Farrell. Mr. Price.
57 forthwith, please.
57 forthwith for Mr. Price. Let's take up item 67. There is a substitute motion, so let's vote on whether to substitute or not. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That item is before us, members. Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and take up item number 6. So let's go ahead and vote up on item 6. There are no cards. We took those already, I should say. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes. And Madam President, that ordinance will be held over 1 week.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 1.
Item 1 called special for cards.
Okay, there is one card on item number 1J. Biharuz. Is there somebody by that name? Shadid Shah. For item number 1J. Biharuz. There's somebody by that name? Okay, there doesn't appear to be anyone by that name. Okay, let's go ahead and vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, that item passes. There's been a request to send item 54 forthwith, Madam Clerk. Okay, we're ready to move on to general public comment. There's a number of cards that were filled out. I'm going to call them 3 at a time. If you can please line up. Pastor Kevin Flaus, are you here? Yes. Ashley Hernandez? And Daryl Molina Sarmiento. If you can please line up. There's a lot of speakers, so if I can please ask for your patience and cooperation, I'd appreciate it. Liliana Marenco, are you here? Yes. And Gabriela Garcia. Let's take up those speakers first. Pastor Slaus, Ashley Hernandez, Sauls, I was corrected. Thank you, Mr. President. Ashley Hernandez, Daryl Molina Sarmiento, Lilian Marenco, and Gabriela Garcia. Good morning, sir. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Calvin Sauls. I serve and lead as a senior pastor at Home United Methodist Church, located in the historic West Adams community, 1.5 miles from the Murphy drilling site in Council District 10. We are here today to take the bold first step to end neighborhood oil drilling in Los Angeles. We applaud the strategic leadership of the Council President and the co-sponsors of the motion in front of you today. Thank you for taking this courageous step forward with us. Neighborhood drilling is a moral issue facing the city of Los Angeles that links our environmental crisis with the struggle for racial and economic justice for low-income communities of color like South Los Angeles. This practice continues to compromise the integrity of our neighborhoods and violates the dignity of our communities. Home United Methodist Church has been an integral part of this vibrant West Adams community.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
And so today,
sir,
look forward to working with you.
Your time is up. Thank you very much. Next speaker. So I don't want to cut anybody off, but everyone's got the same time allotted, 1 minute, so please stay within that 1 minute. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Hernandez. I am a Wilmington resident, and I am here to talk to you about what it's like to live in a frontline community. I live approximately 450 feet from the largest expanded lateral drilling site west of the Mississippi River. I actually live right in front of the Little League baseball field that is used as the buffer between myself and this business. I also live on an active blast zone. I am here to talk to you about this because as a resident, but also as an organizer with Youth for Environmental Justice, I have met many people, my family included, friends and community that have been impacted by neighborhood drilling. I have seen my friends have respiratory issues. My mother developed them. I have worked with students like Rosa, a junior that's currently trying to get into college but is also surviving and fighting cancer. I am working with Giselle Cabrera, a 16-year-old that has severe asthma who I had to drive 30 miles outside to get medical assistance. I am here.
Thank you very much. I asked you to stay within your minute. I don't want to cut you off, but I really need you to adhere to the rules. Thank you very much. Before you get started, hi Daryl, nice to see you. Before you get started, Daryl, Madam Clerk, can we send, there's been a request to send item 61 forthwith, please? Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Daryl Molina Sarmiento. I'm the co-chair of the Stand LA Coalition here before you today. We are proud members with Communities for a Better Environment, Esperanza Community Housing Coalition, and if folks want to stand up as I call your organizational names, Holman United Methodist Church, Physicians for Social Responsibility, Los Angeles, Redeemer Community Partnerships, Scope, Strategic Concepts in Organizing and Policy and Education. We're honored to have the support of community, labor, faith, environmental, and health allies, including the Liberty Hill Foundation, 350.org Southern California, Asthma Coalition of Los Angeles County, Alliance for Community Transit, Black Women for Wellness, California Black Women's Health Project, California Courage Campaign, California Interfaith Power and Light, Californians Against Fracking and Dangerous Drilling, Center for Biological Diversity, Center for Environmental Health, Community Coalition, Earth Justice, Food and Water Watch, Hollywood United, Lane, Los Angeles Community Action Network, Los Angeles Neighborhood Land Trust, NRDC, Pacoima Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daryl. Hold on for just a second. Are you Lilian Marenco?
Yes.
Where's Gabriela Garcia? Because I called her as well. Is she here? Gabriela Garcia, are you here? Gabriela Garcia is not here. Go ahead.
I live 2 houses away from Jefferson drill site. In those 30 years, in those years, I have not witnessed how disrespectful these sites are to our communities. Oil had spray over our houses, cars, and fumes, terrible noises, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Nobody ever had come to tell us what is going on behind those walls. These sites are not belong in our communities. We know the chemicals they use are very dangerous to our health, very deadly. Some of the plants were dead around the site. I have lost 10 trees in my yard. When they reach certain depth, they just die. My husband had cancer. Some people had cancer around there. I urge you.
Thank you very much. Your time is up. Before I call the next speakers, I do want to announce that there's been a special one, Rule 23, submitted in case you want to pull cards for that item. I'm going to call the next group of speakers, Maribel Castillon, Andres Ramirez, Jaimini Parek, Marta Arguello. Are you here? Can we please line up? Maribel Castillon, Andres Ramirez, Jaimini Parek, Marta Arguello. Go ahead, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Maribel Castillon. I am a native-born Angelina who has lovingly served Los Angeles County as a public health nurse for 14 years thus far. As a public health nurse, my role and focus involves the well-being of entire communities. Knowing oil drilling sites have been actively emitting harmful pollutants into the environment that contribute towards illness and disease for the people and animals near them motivated me to take action. I now co-chair the Intune and Progressive SEIU 721 Environmental Justice Action Team. I and my fellow union members are aware that good health is important for cities to thrive and flourish. We are enthusiastically in support for STAND Coalition and the communities present here today to end urban oil drilling. We applaud the leadership the council president and the co-sponsors of the motion have demonstrated. I and the 93,000 SEIU members I represent today invite all of you to use your power and practice discernment by adopting the motion.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Andres Ramirez. I'm here on behalf of Scope Los Angeles, a nonprofit organization based in South Los Angeles. I also want to applaud the council president and the sponsors of this motion. It is time to end urban oil drilling. We look forward for Los Angeles to modernize and be able to think of a new economy that does not cost us our health, that actually provides an opportunity for our economies to grow in newer and renewable jobs. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Jaimini Parek, attorney with Communities for a Better Environment. Oil drilling is a heavily industrial and dangerous activity that is inherently incompatible with residential neighborhoods, a reality too long ignored by our city's zoning code. Under state and federal law, municipalities may restrict oil and gas development within their jurisdiction pursuant to their police powers and zoning authority. The City of LA is well positioned to enact a setback ordinance for 3 reasons. The municipal code reserves control over oil operations by requiring city approval for any activity to drill, re-drill, and maintain oil extraction wells and associated operations. 2, the hazards faced by the dense population living near to these facilities are compelling, as you've heard today. And 3, precedent in the city supports such an action. An ordinance creating a 2,500-foot human health and safety setback should be structured to protect constitutional due process. We look forward to working with you on this issue. Thank you so much.
Martha, before you get started, let me call the next group of speakers. Helen Duplessis, Richard Parks, Marjorie Kay, and Tamara Casey. Are you here?
Helen Duplessis couldn't make it.
Helen Duplessis is not here. Richard Parks, are you here? Tamara Casey? And Monica Uriarte? The speakers need to be here. Okay, thank you very much. Go ahead, Martha.
Good morning. My name is Marta Arguello. I'm the Executive Director of Physicians for Social Responsibility and also co-founder of the Standing Together Against Neighborhood Drilling. Imagine for a moment, close your eyes. Hydrochloric acid, hydrofluoric acid, ethylene glycol, xylene, we're producing benzene, toluene, xylene, nitrogen oxide, hydrogen sulfide. These are just some of the chemicals that are coming off of these sites, and we don't fully know what's happening at these sites. And we're here today fighting for the right to breathe. We're fighting for our heart, for our lungs, and for our healthy brain development, because many of these chemicals actually impact brain development. Some of the chemicals that are also used impact an ability of a woman to carry a child to term. So we're here because it's time that the city took some action to stop this inherently dangerous practice that is happening dangerously close to where people live. Let me say that again. What happens in Los Angeles does not happen in other places. We pull up oil in people's yards where thousands of people live, and we put thousands of people at risk,
It is time to move
Thank you
to a
very
safer
much.
form of energy. Thank you.
Next speaker. What is your name?
Marjorie Kay.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Marjorie Kay. I'm a resident of Council District 13. I'm here to support the City of Los Angeles divesting from institutions that support the DAPL. As Mitch O'Farrell has pointed out, we are leaders to the rest of the country in these harrowing times, and much as progressives led the effort to divest from South Africa because of the obvious injustice inherent in that social system, and as great a success as that was, we have an opportunity to do the same thing here. And this is a great city. I'm so glad that when I come to these meetings, I see so much support for the arts and so much support for the environment, and I hope that we will hold true to our values. As a long-term resident and homeowner, I would really like to see us lead on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you Richard Parks?
No, I'm Ernesto Burbank.
You didn't. I didn't call your name.
He's taking my slot.
You need to fill out your own card, sir.
Okay.
You need to fill out your own card if you're going to speak. Can I have Richard Parks come up? Thank you very much. I need him to fill out his own card.
You have your
Those are the rules. Did you fill out your own? Did you fill out a card?
I'm Tamara Case.
Okay, you have. I have a card for you. Go ahead.
Good day, Council. Again, we are here to visit this divest movement, and we're requesting that the city get this motion on the agenda so we can vote. Please keep in mind, we're on Tongva land. This is indigenous land. I'm speaking on behalf of humanity and Mother Earth. Time is of the essence. We need to divest out of fossil fuels and companies that are infringing on indigenous rights and land, and also affecting millions of people's water source. We need the city of LA to be a shining example, like the city of Seattle, as well as the city of Santa Monica, taking the initiative to move forward in divesting out of the fossil fuel industry and out of the banks that are funding the pipelines going through indigenous land. And here we stand here before you today, again, to ask you and request this consideration to get this on the agenda as soon as possible. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Thank you. You're Richard Parks.
Yes. Members of the council, my name is Richard Parks. In my South LA neighborhood, homes and cars have been sprayed with oil. Residents have been driven from our community by toxic fumes that closed windows cannot keep out of our children's bedrooms. The deafening din of thousands of feet of metal pipe being driven into the ground has robbed residents of the peaceful enjoyment of our home. Tanker trucks pump thousands of gallons of toxic acid into the ground outside of bedroom windows without any warning for residents. We have mourned miscarriages, wondering whether the children we lost, that we never met, were lost to the endocrine disruptors that the oil company sprays into the air to mask other toxic chemicals. While there is powerful symbolism in the action that you are about to take today, we urge you to see this motion through to fruition, to the promulgation of public policy that will end neighborhood drilling.
Thank you very much. Are you Monica Uriarte?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Mr. Wesson, to introduce this motion. My name is Monique Uriarte, and I want to let you know that hundreds of children in Los Angeles suffer for these toxic emissions because just they live close to an oil drilling. It's time to Los Angeles to be respectful and take care about the constituencies that you are represented. We need that Los Angeles be a role model for other cities and other countries, and it's time and opportunity to turn to clean energy and clean jobs. Thank you.
I will call the next group of speakers: Lydia Ponce, Edward Ramos, Sonia Garrido, and Sunny Hernandez. Are you here? Hold on for just a second, Ms. Ponce.
Lydia Ponce, Venice, California. We are on Tongva land, and this agenda today is shocking. It's such a ruse and such an infraction of our rights, and it's against the moral being of who we are, in essence, to our hearts and our spirits. The fact that we are still talking about fracking and drilling in people's backyards or anywhere near in the vicinity of Los Angeles County is just heartbreaking. It's inhumane. The fact that we have to beg for you to put something on the agenda, something that you already agreed to, you passed a motion to divest Los Angeles from Wells Fargo. Do it, so that way this Friday we can talk about it. Pressure the budget committee. They work for us. You all work for us, the people. We have immigration and housing and banking issues that are basically forming and killing all of us. There's genocide that's happening before your very feet. The spirits of these children, they should identify indigenous. And they don't. Why? Because they're erasing history in LAUSD and all the other school districts. So if we don't know who we are, how can we stand? How can we stand?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Are you Edward Ramos?
Hi.
Are you Edward Ramos?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Edward Ramos. I'm a senior at the Los Angeles School of Global Studies. Today I'm joined by my classmates and my teachers to support the decriminalization of the homeless and the passage of the linkage fee. Homelessness is an issue that has been and still is very prominent in LA County, and most of us have grown up exposed to it. Today we are all wearing a shirt that symbolizes the support for the linkage fee and opposition to the criminalization of the homeless. And now, can everyone that is wearing the shirt please stand up? On our shirts, we have a logo depicting a man holding onto his life, which is his cart. An important part of a homeless person's life is their property. A shopping cart is where they can put the last of their belongings and whatever else they need to survive for the night. Municipal Code 5611 is an ordinance that allows law enforcement to easily confiscate the property of a homeless person. This is why we believe that that code should be changed, because it can really hurt our brothers and sisters on the streets. If homeless...
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Sonia Garrido, and I'm a student at Los Angeles School of Global Studies. I'm here today to demand and change the 2016 Strong Person Properties Ordinance 56.11 that allows police to more easily confiscate properties for homeless. First, we want to ordinance to ensure police to never take any important properties from homeless, such as legal documents, medication. Second, police should give more warning to homeless before they clear their impact. Third, the homeless should be given enough time to gather their belongings in a waterproof container, not a trash can bin. One of the reasons why we need to change this political is because many homeless people have been arrested without any reason. According to this article, the LAPD arrests 50,000 people homeless. According to 14%, all arrested throughout.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Sunny Hernandez. I'm here to talk about littering and homelessness. For my solution, I've collaborated with many groups to talk about the finding issue with homelessness. We want to make sure that finding the homeless is over. And instead of finding homeless people, we could give people who litter community services hours so they could work and clean the streets instead of finding people that don't have that much money to pay off the tickets. Each and every ticket has valid $50 to $60 or more dollars. And we want to make sure that the finding are decreased and instead are giving more community service hours to people who litter. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Hi, what is your name?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of
what
the
is your
council.
name?
My name is Pedro Cite, and I'm
Oh, I
here.
haven't called you yet. Hold on for just a second. Before you was Maro Kakuzian. She's first. I didn't call you yet, Pedro. Hold on for just a second. We have to go in order. So let me call the next group of speakers. Maro Kakuzian, Pedro Cite, David Duran, and Jesus Lino. Can you please line up behind Maro? Pedro, you're right after her, okay? Go ahead.
Good morning, Council. My name is Maro Kakusian, and I'm the daughter of immigrant parents whose mother fled Egypt and father Lebanon. As a first-generation Armenian American, I stand in solidarity with first and foremost the Tongva people whose land we are currently occupying, with the undocumented and immigrant communities facing deportation, labor right issues, and detention, and with the underserved, marginalized communities whose health have been jeopardized by neighborhood drilling projects. Immigration justice, worker rights, access to housing are a human right. Labor rights and abuse in the workplace, including unpaid wages, access to housing, education, health access, including mental health services, language barriers, cultural spaces, are all a human right. Access to legal and social services are also a human right. Access to educational resources also are a human right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Pedro.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the council. My name is Pedro Cite, and I am here as an advocate and representative from the Los Angeles School of Global Studies. We're here to support the affordable house linkage fee. We believe that the linkage fee will generate the necessary revenue from developers, fund house necessary service for homeless community. Gentrification is a factor causing for low-income population and displacement of becoming homeless. The linkage fee can help slow down gentrification, at the same time fund affordable housing for low-income population and the homeless. It is clear to us that gentrification contributes to homelessness. If the linkage fee passes, it will reduce homelessness in Los Angeles because it will slow down luxury development that causes gentrification and raise funds for affordable housing. Every day I wake up at 6 in the morning, I go to work and I came at 11:30, and I sleep like a Kwan.
Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you.
Again. Good morning, my name is David Duran, and I'm representing the School of Global Studies, and I'm here to speak for the homeless. We're asking for a linkage fee to generate revenue from developers for affordable services for homeless and low income. Homelessness has existed since an extensive amount of time and has been drastically increasing throughout the years. Since 2015, homelessness has increased by 6%, while sheltered homelessness has decreased by 9%. In the LA County area, 18% of the residents meet the federal poverty measure. This without housing costs. Once housing costs is added, the rate increases to 27%. The main goal of the affordable housing linkage fee is to make housing much more affordable. One of the ways is by creating a source of funding. This will be done by establishing fees to identify types of market rate development. This way, money can be conserved to construct housing for the low income and homeless people. Many of us go home to see our families struggle paying rent, and we ask ourselves, what can we do? At the end of the day, the more money we earn, the more our rent goes up. So the best thing we can do is inform the people about the affordable housing linkage fee. Thank you.
Are you Jesus Lino?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Jesus Lino, and I am representing the students of the Los Angeles School of Global Studies and the low-income and homeless people who unfortunately do not have the opportunity to voice their opinion here today. We ask that the Affordable Housing Linkage Fee program passes so that revenue could be generated from developers for affordable housing for low-income people. However, we also ask that this policy be modified so that it includes housing and services for homeless people. We are cognizant of the fact that Measure H passed, but this regressive tax places the responsibility of helping the homeless on the low and working class people. We ask that the linkage fee passes because it is time for a progressive tax to pass so that the rich can pay their fair share. Gentrification has been an issue that has been going on for many years, and now it is time for gentrifiers to pay for the repercussions that come from the displacement of people and families. Now, more than ever, we need to learn to accept one another in order to progress as a society. Providing affordable housing and services is the first step in doing so. The time to act is now, not later. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, there's been a request to send item 23 urgent forthwith. So let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote. Okay, thank you. I'm going to call the next speakers.
10 ayes.
Thank you. Juan Sanchez, Christian Gonzalez. If I can ask you, please, I can move it quicker, a lot faster, if you allow me to say the name so people can hear that they're next. Juan Sanchez, is that you? Yeah. Christian Gonzalez, Brenda Mejia, Ariana Aleman, Andrea Rosales. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Juan Saksha. Let me get straight to the point. Now that Measure H passed, we are able to allocate funds for the new quarter-cent sales tax toward housing and services for the homeless. However, this regressive tax is still not enough and will likely place a disproportionate tax burden on us low income. As students of the Los Angeles School of Global Studies, we want to encourage you to pass the linkage fee. The responsibility should not keep falling on working class communities. Rather, the real estate developers should pay their fair share to improve the city we all live in. Through project-based learning at our school, we have learned about structural factors that contribute to homelessness. An important factor is the lack of resources, which increases cases of mental illnesses and substance abuse. Affordable housing is not enough. There is still a huge proportion of chronically homeless people, including 30% that have been labeled as mentally ill. Providing them a home won't deal with their health issues. The sustainable solution requires clinical and consultative services. Ignoring the need for appropriate services only increases the hidden costs that will emerge as these conditions become more serious and widespread.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Christian Gonzalez, and I'm here to talk about how development contributes to homelessness. The surge in development in LA leads to many problems, including a lack of affordable housing. Working families are facing the problem of ridiculous rents that continue to rise. My dad's rent recently saw a whopping 18% rise from September 2015 to November 2016. That is an 18% increase, $190 added onto our rent, making it go from $1,060 to $1,250. After so many years in this neighborhood, we feel as if we are being kicked out. Numerous developments are being made where working families currently live, and this attracts more affluent people, which ultimately leads to gentrification. The public mandates to check the power of wealthy developers is reflected in the Luz initiative in Santa Monica, the grassroots movements of Defend Boyle Heights, and the unexpected surge of support for Measure S. Though it did not pass, Measure S resonated with many Angelenos who are frustrated with the effects of luxury development. The linkage fee is an effective way to check the power of wealthy developers and to regulate them while at the same time generating revenue. Thank you.
Next speaker. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Brenda Mejia. And
you can bring the mic down. There you go.
And I am here to support the linkage fee, but to ask that there is a more explicit mention of how funds could be used for housing and services for the homeless. As you may have heard, Utah has made a huge step towards ending homelessness. With their motto, Housing First, they were able to reduce homelessness by 91% in 2015. This is an example of the type of model that Los Angeles can make. However, we clearly know that our current president, Donald Trump, is thinking of cutting down federal funding. This model, although this model is funded by the federal funding, Los Angeles can start making its own federal money to fund programs such as these. This is a reason to pass the linkage fee, to provide homes for those who need them the most with funding from our own city. Thank you very much for your time.
My name is Ariana Leman. I am here because I do not want LA to be the most expensive city in the U.S., and I want LA to not be the city that has the highest homeless rate in the country. The vast majority of the city's population are people of color, and the majority have come from poor and disadvantaged communities. This is my community, and I want City Council to implement the linkage fee that will help our low-income who suffer from expensive housing and to end homelessness in LA. Homelessness is increasing along with unaffordable housing. A regressive tax like Measure H is taxing people at equal portions of money, regardless of their income backgrounds. Our community already lives paycheck to paycheck, and we are asked to build our own social safety net out of the meager scraps of money we make, and we barely have enough to even save money. This tax is affecting my family because I see my dad work hard to keep a roof over my head, unlike people with higher incomes who he does not have any extra money on hand. LA is getting more expensive every year, and this is making it harder for our communities to rise and live sustainable lives.
Thank you. What's your name?
Andrea.
Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Andrea. I am a senior at the Los Angeles School of Global Studies, and I am here to advocate for the linkage fee. I am also here to explain how the need for affordable housing is connected to the need to end domestic violence and violence against women in general. Domestic violence is a contributing factor to the issue of homelessness. Victims of domestic violence lose about 8 million days of paid work because of the violence that they experience. I could keep giving you statistic after statistic, but I know that I only have a few moments of your time. I can tell you that 63% of homeless women has experienced domestic violence in their lives, but it's only up to you to take these numbers and make the decision to change them. The purpose of social responsibility is to get involved. These women often have to endure the abuse because they don't want to end up in the streets or in the shelter. If a battered woman does get the courage to leave, this is exactly what happens. Instead of judging these women, we should judge ourselves for not doing enough to assist them. Passing the linkage fee will save the lives of many people living on the streets. If you really want to put an end to homelessness, start by passing the linkage fee. Thank you for your time.
Okay, the next group of speakers, Anthony Salazar, Leonardo Serrano, Madeline Merritt, Magali Sanchez Hall. Is Madeline Merritt here? And Magali Sanchez Hall? Anybody here by that name? Magali Sanchez Hall, are you here? She is not here. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anthony Salazar, and I'm a senior at the Los Angeles School of Global Studies. I am a member of the City District Number 1. I'm a citizen, I live there. Me and my fellow peers have noticed that trash in the Los Angeles area has been a growing issue. And the main tourist attractions like City Walk and like Oliver Street and everything have been getting like the cleaning services that they have been receiving. But as a resident of City District 1, I've noticed like MacArthur Park hasn't been getting the cleaning services that have been needed. And I've noticed also homelessness has been another issue too there, is where homeless people and trash have been a growing issue in that area too. So I was wondering if like we can get more cleaning services, more trash cans at least, or any kind of services that actually will help the community any other way. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Today I'm here not only as a student and advocate, I'm here as part of the homeless community to make sure that people have the same opportunities I have been offered. My name is Leonardo Serrano. I'm a student at Los Angeles School of Global Studies and currently homeless. Although I have been more fortunate than other people that have been living invisibly before our own eyes, I know what it's like to be in the streets and feel like nobody's there to help. Ashamed to tell anyone about my situation, afraid to be labeled and compared with what I thought were the worst people imaginable. During my time as part of this wonderful community, I have learned to listen and truly understand the reasons why people need the support. Some have been looking for new opportunities. Some have lost their loved ones, and some weren't accepted for who they were. As of now, I'm not afraid to hold my head up and say, I'm homeless, but not unhuman. I know many of you are considering the costs and benefits of the linkage fee and how could it potentially affect our city. It's your job. But I can tell you that this progressive tax would make the most. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Before you speak, does that conclude all the students that came here this afternoon? Yes? That concludes. I just want to say thank you so much for being patient with us and for speaking so eloquently. So proud of each and one of you for demonstrating real leadership. Give yourselves a big round of applause. You did a great job. And I just want to say to the females in the audience, I heard each and every one of you, you should be running for office and help me get more women on the city council. Mr. Cedillo, did you want to say something? Because I know these students need to get back to school.
Yes, I also want to join you, Madam President, in acknowledging the very clear and articulate voices from the Miguel Contreras School. I say that, I want you guys to know because Miguel was a friend of mine. He was a personal friend of mine, and we were here in Los Angeles in the 90s working at the County Federation of Labor, and I was working for SEIU Local 660. My local played a major role in funding the County Fed, and Miguel, with his genius, built that into one of the most powerful political machines for social justice. So it's appropriate that these voices for social justice come from the Miguel Contreras School. He would be so proud of you. Maria Elena Durazo, his wife, is proud of you. We can't say enough of how much and how important it is that you raise your voices and create this tradition, build this legacy of a fight for social justice from the Miguel Contreras School. This will be with you for today and for your future. Let me also add, Madam Chair, that it is right to raise these issues, that there is a struggle that is taking place. Homelessness for young people in particular is a vexing challenge. Those who come out of foster care, within 6 months, half of them are on the streets. We have not done enough, and we do not do enough to enable young people to meet the challenges as they leave school or foster care in particular. But we are making some progress. I appreciate the acknowledgments that we're making, the acknowledgments of the progress we're making to clean up around MacArthur Park. Not criminalizing street vendors was the right thing to do. Giving them infrastructure and places to sell their wares as micro-enterprises and not as criminals, but as entrepreneurs for the future is the right thing to do, and you see that at Alvarado. We're very proud of that work. It's a product of 3.5 years of work from my staff. And we're building around the MacArthur Park area, as you know. You saw us cut ribbon at 6th and Bonnie Bray. It was a campaign promise. And you see the Californian, a lovely place for families to live. Paseo at the Californian, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units for families. You see what we've built at the 6th, down on 7th Street, which is built for homeless veterans with wraparound services. We have projects at 7th and Whitmer. We have an array of projects in that area. Even those are planned for over the stop and then the street behind. All those are part of the progress that we're making. We're not done. We've got work to do. We have to continue. We have to be ever vigilant. You are the future. This is for you. You are the future. You're grasping and taking control. You're making the right choices. You're showing up, and you're choosing to be successful, to be responsible. You're telling the truth, and you're building a better future, and I could not be more proud of you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Ms. Merritt. We're going to call the next group of speakers as well. Madeline Merritt, Ernesto Burbank, Tayana Vizcarra, Jacqueline Richardson, Sean. Are you all here? Ernesto Burbank, are you here?
He's here.
Tayana Vizcarra, I need you to form a line right behind the podium, please. Go ahead, Ms. Merritt. Sorry about that.
Hello, I'd like to thank the council, all of you who are still here today to listen to the people's voices. I think it's very important that you do hear the public comments as they come in. I'm here today to ask that you stand as representatives to one of the most progressive cities in the nation. As you saw at the Women's March when 750,000 people showed up to stand for equal rights, for women's rights here in this city, the largest in the nation, that you realize you have a progressive city. I would like to request that you all represent us in a good fashion by divesting from Wells Fargo and big banks that support oil pipelines that poison our water and our lands across this great nation. You could help lead the way in our city being the most progressive city in this nation. You have the people here showing you that that's the city that you represent, and I'd appreciate you taking their voices forward to enact legislation that actually makes a difference in this world and represents us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Yeah, my name's Ernesto Burbank, represent the indigenous people of the Western Hemisphere. We obviously we had a person that acknowledged the youth, and with that said, we should really have the responsibility as an adult to these children to preserve this world that we have. And with everything that we are going through in this world, we are becoming the United States of an oil company. We have seen the first-hand results of the violence of these oil companies in Standing Rock, where we personally stood in the front lines, and we have seen our grandmothers being shot at. We have seen our youth being hurt, and we do not stand for that. You know, as a human race, we need to begin to really honor these children and really mean the words that we say. We cannot just pat them on the back. We have to fully be behind them, and we have to be responsible every step of the way. Thank you.
My name is Tayana Vizcarra. I am a water protector. I am here. First of all, I'd like to thank you for listening to us, but it's time for action. And also, please enforce your own council rule number 93, where council members are full screen on the screen, and then the speakers, you can hardly see them in the corner. That needs to be addressed. This last weekend, I watched with my family the Deep Horizon disaster film about the oil gushing, the largest gushing oil spill in the United States, it's been 17 years now. And I wonder how long we're going to keep this going. And I wonder why we don't make changes. I wonder why we've been here for 3 weeks and we are still not on the agenda. You hear us every week pleading, giving you our knowledge, our history, and please get us on the agenda.
Thank you. Next speaker is Sean, followed by Jacqueline Richardson, Spindler, Mr. Hunt, and Irene Montantes. Go ahead, Sean.
Hi, Nuri. I'm celebrating my 53rd birthday Monday. Most of these people, listen, Nuri, listen to council, most of these people are right. Things are too expensive to live in L.A. What are people going to do? Move to Texas or somewhere along these lines? They can't. Things must go down like the rents must go down. Things are getting way too high. Something must be done about this. My message to the gardeners, sweep the leaves up instead of use those damn leaf blowers.
Thank you, Sean. Happy birthday. Go ahead, Mrs. Richardson.
A little while back, I was walking down the street and some people were laughing and saying, "You have 3 holographs in City Council." I haven't seen any holographs in City Council. Not too long after that, I went over to the City Personnel Department to see if I could find any holographs. I saw a person that could have been a holograph, but I couldn't tell. I don't really know holographs. The other day, I was walking down the street talking to myself out loud, and this man said, You want to see holographs, huh? Well, why don't you just walk around the block? Just walk around the block. I still didn't see any holographs. One thing about holographs is they have owners. They don't tell themselves what to do. If they want a job, their owner has to program them to go this place and that place.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Next speaker, Mr. Spindler. Are you here? Mr. Spindler is not here. Mr. Hunt? Mr. Hunt is not here. Irene Montantes, are you here?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to give recognition to the Tongva people in respect to their ancestors and those who still remain on this land and for who thousands of years were the original inhabitants of what is now called Los Angeles. Divest LA is a coalition of indigenous people, water protectors, earth protectors, former bank workers, and labor union representatives. Environmental, political, and community organizations, including Revolution LA, March and Rally Los Angeles, AIM SoCal, Red Earth Defense, Committee for Better Banks, Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment, Fight Climate Denial and Justice Boycott, and 350 SoCal. Our aim is to encourage Los Angeles city officials and residents to divest from corporations that act against the interests of common good and reinvest funds towards socially and environmentally conscious institutions. We are here asking LA City Council to pass an ordinance to end the city's relationship with Wells Fargo and amend the current responsible banking order.
Thank you very much. That concludes cards in public comment. Public comment is now closed, Madam Clerk. Let's go ahead and recess our regular meeting and go into our special meeting. Can you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Heristasen, Weiser, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
Okay, what's before us?
Item 70 is an item for which a public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, without objection, that item is before us, Madam Clerk. Are there any cards on this item?
Yes, there are cards.
Mr. Herman, on item 70, followed by Mr. Walsh and Mr. Previn. Item 70.
I'll stay specifically on topic. Communication from the Department of General Service regarding first consideration relative to the fucking determination that certain city-owned fucking property of real property is no longer fucking your property, required for the use of the city's fucking interest to give public property away as necessary or as a convenience that requires no fucking sale thereof. So how the fuck you make money for the city? How the fuck you make money for the people of this city? Now, going back into it, it's simply to state, for the sale thereof and ordering the sale thereof, oral bids or public action, it's another scam. Stop fucking with the public's money, sell the property, and put the money back in the general fund. Did you hear that, Hugo Rossiter? Did you hear that, Hugo Rossiter? That's the point. Give the people back their fucking money. Stop stealing from the public.
Mr. Walsh? On item 70, followed by Mr. Previn.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, J. Walsh Confidential. This is an old trick they play. They want to eminent domain property for a developer. So it says city-owned property is no longer required for the use of the city, and public interest requires the sale thereof and ordering the sale. So they're going to sell property that they took for public interest. And we're talking about $2 million. And then they're going to sell it to a favored developer for almost nothing. These people up here, they're in favor of the developers. Not the Donald Trump developers, but the limp-dick liberal developers. And this is a way that limp-dick liberals take property away from us, the city, and give it to their limp-dick developer friends.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Mr. Previn, item 70.
Thank you. It is Eric Previn from the 3rd District. I live in Studio City. This isn't a matter
that takes place in Bonan's district, CD11, I believe, in the Palisades, in the area near the cliffs and stuff. And they had some difficulties seismically, and the city had to acquire a bunch of properties because they were unsafe. So now we're selling them because we need money. But the question is, are they no longer unsafe? Because obviously we provide some kind of protective. I don't know the nature of the agreement. Mr. Fauble doesn't either. But we do need to be cautious in this area. Obviously, we do need to raise funds, and selling an old property that's not inhabited at the moment is an interesting area. But also, you're having an oral bid session down here at a weird time. So I believe it's April 24th. People should know that. Or is it May 24th? Somebody please state the actual time when you're going to be having this this sale out loud so that people know, Mr. Fauble. Would you do that as a courtesy in my last minute? Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. That concludes cards on this item, members. Let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, thank you. That's it. Let's send this item forthwith.
Madam President, actually the ordinance will be held over 1 week to April 26th.
Okay, very well. Let's go ahead and adjourn our special meeting and return to our regular meeting. And let's take up special one, Mr. Englander.
Yes, thank you very much. Asking for a 245. It's actually on the 23. And so we'd have to open the roll for findings on the 23, I believe. And what it is information we found out and on a particular case in my district that we'd like to, well, I can't talk on the item, but I can talk on the findings. I think need some little more clarity from the Area Planning Commission on it. So we don't necessarily disagree with their action. We'd like to work with them a little more on it. So with that, this is the last day we can act. So under a 23, I'd like to 245 that item.
Okay, let's go ahead and open the roll on the findings. Close the roll. Tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
And with that, I don't wish to actually vote on it today. So I'd like to hold it in chambers and in council.
You want to hold this item? Do you have a particular date you want to hear it?
Well, we do have a timeline on it for the next few weeks, so we'll get back to you with a specific date.
Yeah, so,
okay.
So we'd like to assert jurisdiction. So so we'd have to rule to it for the 245 now,
yes,
and then
we
we'll
need to
hold that
vote
and schedule
for the
it.
245.
So we'll go ahead and ask for the vote on the 245.
But
vote on the 245.
And then we'll
I've
hold
got
that.
2 cards.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, before we vote, we voted on the findings. We should take any cards that have been submitted, and then we can vote on the substance.
Yes. Thank you, Mike. I haven't. Yeah.
I'm going to call speakers on this item. Tayana and Eric Previn. Mr. Previn, are you speaking on special one? Yeah, you can. We're hearing speaker cards now, sir. Are you speaking? Yes or no?
Thank you. It is Eric Previn from Studio City. I'm not familiar with Section 245, but I certainly am familiar with 54954.2B2, which is the one where if it came to your attention late, then you have a permissible opportunity to put something on an agenda and discuss it. But here, it's weird. It's a little weird, I got to be honest, because this is a piece of business that you've known about for a long time. There was a ruling made in the Planning Commission, so we can't tell what's going on here. I know you're going to have it back, so I'm slightly comforted by that. But I do not like, I'll be honest with you, as a member of the public who does look at this business as a kind of a watchdog, I do not like the use of the bulletin board and the special one, because what was Mr. Englander doing when we were publishing the agenda on this stuff? We've known about this if we waited until the very last minute, and if it's being used in any way to put pressure on the applicant or the appellant, guys, and Ms. Martinez, it's not cool. Let's try agendizing things, and let's have the people speak on the agenda items. Then we don't have to do the kind of
Thank you, Mr.
labyrinthian
Previn.
stuff.
Thank you very much. That concludes cards on this item. Let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Walsh, hold on for just a second. I don't have your card on here. Did you just put it in? Give me a second. Hold on for just a second, sir. Sometimes the system just doesn't help me here. Your card is not coming up. Go ahead, Mr. Walsh. For whatever reason, it's not coming up. So I just want to know Mr. Walsh is going to speak on special one. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm quoting what it says in this item. Zoning Administrator North Valley erred, E-R-R-E-D, means he screwed up or she screwed up, not taking into account full range of negative traffic impacts. That's what this is about. You don't know that out there because they're not going to talk about it. So it was so screwed up, and it was for a developer, that they actually had to overturn their own decision. When the city council has to overturn their own decision, that tells you that something is really screwed up. Again, zoning administrator erred. You can go to the internet and get special one by not taking into account full range of negative traffic impacts. They're going to just flood and choke the city with traffic, and I'm sure that the Olympics love it.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Mr. Herman, are you speaking on special one?
Listen, rookie, I'm getting on topic. I'm building a thought. Hold
The
up.
speaker is off topic. Either speak to the
subject
agenda
of the-
item or relinquish your time.
Is really not an irrelevant issue. It deals with a complicated issue. What Mr. Walsh was trying to explain, rookie, is a fact. And that fact is a statement in which I, with John, promote. So in all clarity and without disregard to any mistake, HollywoodHighland.org John Walsh is politically correct. There are
Speaking on this
problems.
item,
There are
Mr.
problems
Herman.
with. Listen, rookie, which one am I listening
You're
to?
not speaking on the subject. Thank you very much. You can sit down. That concludes cards on this item. Let's go ahead and vote to assert jurisdiction on this item. Let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, what's next?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
Okay, there's been a request to send items 56 and 53 and 56 forthwith. So we're posted and referred.
And that clears the
Clears
desk.
Thank you. Members, are there any announcements? No announcement. Can we please rise for adjourning motions? Members, any adjourning motions? To my right. Seeing none, any adjourning motions? Mr. Marquis Harris Dawson, go ahead.
Chair and members, I ask today that we adjourn in the memory of Mr. Walter Lee White, a longtime resident of South Los Angeles, specifically the 9th Council District. Mr. White moved to Los Angeles after marrying his wife of many years in 1945. For decades, he worked just around the way at the ARCO station here in Chinatown. He raised several children here in South Los Angeles. He had a hobby of working on Harley-Davidson motorcycles. He was a member of one of our famous motorcycle clubs in South Los Angeles called the Adventurers. Even after he retired from ARCO, he continued to do odd jobs and help rear his children. I had the privilege of working with one of his children when he was in high school. And you get to know a lot about a parent when you work with their kids. When you work with young people in South LA like I did, they're parents that you never see, they're parents that you see all the time, they're parents that actually ask you for help with their young people. And I was very proud to work with Mr. Marcus McKinney, who's with us here today, one of Mr. White's sons. Mr. McKinney went to Manual Arts High School, and he and his father played a very important role that Mr. Weezer actually helped us move in the city of Los Angeles. Mr. McKinney was only being given shop classes and vocational training classes at Manual Arts School. And we wanted to intervene on that because that was happening to so many young people in LAUSD schools. And Mr. White would come with Marcus. He would prepare with Marcus and would actually go talk to the school board members, including School Board President Huizar, to make sure students got the classes that they needed to go on to college. And so we were able to get that victory with the help of Marcus and Mr. White and so many students and parents. And Marcus went on to work in Sacramento. He worked for 3 speakers, Bass, 2 speakers, Bass and Perez, and has had a long career in Sacramento helping move progressive legislation for our state. And so we wanted to adjourn today in the memory of his father, and we're happy to have Marcus here. And we had Mr. White's granddaughter here, but she couldn't hang out too long. So at a few months, we had to take her upstairs to the office. So again, thank you all for adjourning in the memory of Mr. White.
Any other members? Mr. Bonin.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, I'd like to ask that we adjourn today in memory of a victim of a horribly tragic traffic fatality in my district during recess. 23-year-old Ron Herons and 4 other young firefighters from Marietta, Georgia, were visiting Los Angeles, and they were just wrapping up a vacation on April 10th when the car they rented was T-boned at a high rate of speed by a suspected drunk driver at Ocean Avenue and Washington Boulevard on the border of Venice and Marina del Rey. Even though he was wearing a seatbelt at the time, the force of the collision threw Ron from the back seat, and he died at the scene. 2 of his colleagues in the car, Dylan Guest and Douglas Blanchard, were badly injured. The group of firefighters from Georgia had been visiting just about 6 hours earlier with the personnel at Fire Station 63 in Venice. They hung out, they ate, they took photos, and they exchanged T-shirts. Later in the evening when the accident happened, the very same LAFD crew that they had been spending time with responded to the call, and they had to remove the T-shirt they had given him in order to treat them for their injuries. In addition to the enormous pain and loss for Ron's family and his friends and his colleagues, it's also been an understandably traumatic experience for the personnel at Fire Station 63. Ron had joined the Cobb Fire Explorers program as a teenager, and he was the first explorer to get a full-time job with the Marietta Fire Department. He was hired at just 19 years old, and he had been with the department for 4 years. He's survived by his girlfriend, Rosa Campos, his sister, Dana Herons, his father, Dirk Herons, and his mother, Cody Herons. He's being memorialized today in Georgia. I'd also like, though, to acknowledge a number of the agencies that responded to his call and gave him fitting tribute. LAFD, LAPD, the County Fire Department, and the County Coroner's Office, the Torrance Fire Department, LAWA PD and their Honor Guard, and United Firefighters of Los Angeles City. In the days following the incident, they escorted Ron's body from the scene of the accident to the coroner's office, from the coroner's office to a mortuary in Torrance, and finally from Torrance directly to the plane at LAX for the flight home. They also cared for Ron's injured colleagues and took them in like their own family during what was a very difficult time for everybody. So may he rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. Bonin. Anyone else? Seeing none, our meeting is adjourned. Have a good afternoon.